Rockstar Games is responsible for some of the world's best games, but are they secretly evil? How can we handle this betrayal? Find out why 100-hour work weeks may not be as bad as they initially sound on this overworked and unappreciated bowl of dude soup.
There's this thing.
Oh, dude soup.
This thing,
Yeah.
this intro.
Crazy what you can do with After Effects these days.
Not a very good wife.
Is this the intro every week?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
I would change it up.
Don't judge us.
I'm judging so
I
much.
used to change it up, but it's like it's not worth the time. People don't watch more if you make an extra, like a change in intro. You know what I mean?
No, they don't.
Well, you haven't tried it yet. So
I did.
Maybe
No,
they
he did.
will watch.
He did try it.
I tried it for months, ran analytics on it.
I retract that statement.
It's like some of those YouTube channels that have like 15, 30-second intros that will literally make me not watch the rest of the
Oh, yeah.
video.
All
Like,
the
I
After
don't
Effects
want
Minecraft
this.
intros.
Oh, they take so long.
Just gonna write a quick note here. Don't
Cut
change
intros.
Mega Spliff Gaming. No, I love the idea, and I'm sure some people appreciate it. But like by the numbers, if it doesn't get more viewers, it's probably something I should be spending time on. But there's always we'll get into it. We'll get into it. Hey, welcome to Dude Soup. I'm your host, Lawrence, who doesn't have a nickname because I forget to give them to myself. But I'm joined by three expert panelists when it comes to working jobs. We've all done that quite a bit.
I do have a job.
Yeah.
Congrats,
Congratulations.
yeah, finally.
Give
Way
me
to
a
go.
fist bump.
Oh, you sick?
My hands are cold.
Mine are too.
I get cold hands.
I like cold hands. It cools me down. I'm typically very hot.
Bruce is typically very hot.
Hey-o! Thanks, Barbara. I appreciate that. That's very nice.
Speaking of Barbara, we got Barbara B-Dunk Too Strong Dunkelman, who works
Wow.
very hard.
Could that be my lower third for the entire
Yeah, we need
episode?
lower thirds now. Omar!
Too strunk? B-dunk,
Yeah.
what? B-dunk too strunk?
B-Dunk Too Strong, and that's the number 2.
Oh, of
Nice.
course.
Just so you know.
Nice.
Oh, you spelled it strunk as well.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because it's got a rhyme.
I'm not going to read the others. I don't want spoilers.
All right.
Yeah.
There's Bruce, the Toos is loose, green.
That's right.
I don't know. I was
What
going
does
with
that do
tooth.
thing with working hard?
It doesn't really have
So
anything
that to do with like your butthole being loose?
Sure.
Yeah, that's
Why
hard
not?
work. That's
Bruce
probably
has the
hard
most
work.
traveled
Why not?
butthole in
Yeah, why not?
greater LA area. And Alana dropping bombs on the piers. It's hard to rhyme with Alana.
All right.
I was thinking something Meliana, but I didn't want to go there.
You could go llama.
Llama. Alana Llama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
She's
works.
Charlana Zard. Don't forget.
I did forget.
Never forget.
How do you rhyme with? Oh, that makes rhyming easier.
I still remember the first time I saw your screen name. I spent too long trying to
We all
read
do.
it
Whenever
out.
I'm on a podcast and someone's like, "So, where can people find you?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it. It's fine."
Google.
Yeah, just try Google.
Yeah, once you get it, it makes total sense.
I know. That's why I started saying only like last year. I've had it since I was 14, and I only started saying it's my name in the middle of Charizard like a year ago.
Does that help it click in with people?
I think so. I don't
Problem is
know.
that Charizard has an I, and I don't think Charizard.
The I is removed. My name is in there instead.
Oh.
It's a bit longer that way.
Yeah, that doesn't sound as nice.
Like there's no I in team. There's just Alana in
Yeah.
team.
Exactly.
This
science.
podcast is sponsored by 3 sponsors. We've got Amazon Prime Video, Beachbody, and Quip. With Amazon Prime, you can pay for only the Prime channels you want, including stuff like Showtime, HBO, Stars. You can get free trials of over 100 channels by visiting tryprimechannels.com/dudesoup. You can get a free trial membership to Beachbody On Demand, including their 14-day results plan, which they say can help you lose up to 9 pounds in 2 weeks, which is intense, but I suppose possible when you text DUDE to 303030. And then Quip starts at just $25. If you go to getquip.com/dude, you get your first refill pack of little brush heads for free. The Quip electric toothbrush. Again, that's getquip.com/dude. Like reading those Vanity Worlds.
Great promo code.
Right?
it is.
Yeah.
My favorite is for Blue Apron we get soup, which just makes all kinds of sense.
Oh yeah.
It's just weird how it like changes every time. It's either dude or soup
That
or
happens
dude
with
soup.
some of our shows too.
Yeah. I think
Someone
certain
else is
Vanity
trying to
headlines
take
are
your
giving out.
codes.
They are. How dare they?
Who's taking dude?
I don't know. I'm just proud that
Oscar
we got
Wilde.
it.
Get it?
Oscar
Get it? Get it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I do. I
Thank
get
you.
it.
He made the word.
I mean, I get.
Really?
He invented the word, dude.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually didn't know that. I thought it was because you were talking about because he's gay.
No, he invented the word.
And as we know, the word dude is reserved for gay people.
No, just because he likes dudes.
No, my joke was way smarter than that.
It was
Yeah.
way smarter than that. Alana was way smarter.
I just nodded pretending to know what you were talking about.
Thank
I don't
you.
wanna
I
just-
didn't know
I'll
at
take
all.
it.
No,
I want the podcast to be about this now.
Oscar Wilde invented the word dude.
What's the context of that?
I mean, it
on,
was.
let me look this up.
It started as a mix of something with attitude.
Oh.
Attitude.
Attitude and dude, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. I think it was like duds with attitude. Dud meaning like
Clothes,
I'm not really sure.
studs. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe he was talking about dudes with that. Wait a minute.
He invented the word.
God damn it. This is just a whole thing about Owen brothers, or the Coen brothers, and
There we go. The word dude was invented by Oscar Wilde and his friends. It came from attitude and duds. Yeah.
What are duds? Clothes?
I don't know.
Duds are typically clothes.
Isn't a dud like something that isn't great? Like,
That's
a
what
movie
I.
is a dud.
But
It can
that
be, but when
seems
you're
like it'd be
wearing-
more.
When you're
recent
wearing
slang.
duds, those are clothes. I promise you
Didn't
that.
know that.
I promise.
Sweet
plus it was
duds.
also in the early 1900s. So
Yeah.
That's why I don't
Likely.
know how old the word duds is, because that one makes sense to me if
Yeah.
it's duds with
I'll look it up.
attitude, meaning like we're a bunch of idiots and we have attitude. That
Right.
makes sense.
Duds.
well, who knows? All right.
Anyway, great joke, Alana.
Now we know.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
get into it, guys. We've been goofing off too much. We got to get back on that clock.
Oh, okay.
Grind out this podcast.
All right.
So yeah, there was an incident lately, or rather,
A while ago.
yeah, unfortunate phrasing in the middle of a very broad and actually diverse interview, which it was about Rockstar games. It ran in Vultures. Let me throw this over here.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we got a big ass TV screen. We're gonna use it.
Color me impressed.
So this was actually a really cool interview. Rockstar Games, specifically either of the Hausers, Dan or Sam Hauser, lead writers at Rockstar, host of other titles too, typically don't give interviews because they actually say in like the first paragraph, I think this is Dan Hauser, he's saying like it creates, let's see, here we go, quote, lots of girls who only want to speak to you or have sex with you because you're famous, and in exchange for that you give up your whole soul. So they actually kind of reject the idea of any kind of celebrity. So they don't talk about their work much. They don't do many interviews. They don't go to E3. So this was kind of cool, except that buried in this interview was the following quote. Quote, we were working 100-hour weeks several times in 2018, Dan says. The finished game includes 300,000 animations, 500,000 lines of dialogue, and many more lines of code. Even for each Red Dead... why am I blinking on the R? It's not reloaded.
Redemption?
Thank you.
Yeah, I was like,
Wow,
what do you
your
I
mean?
was like,
brain.
Revolution? What?
Revolver?
No.
Your brain.
Red Dead
Even
Revolution.
I knew that.
Thank you. That's why you're here, Barbara. TV commercial quote. We
What's
probably
an
made
expert, Barbara Dunkelman?
Hello.
we probably made 70 versions, but the editors may take several hundred. Sam and I will both make lots of suggestions, as will other members of the team. That 100-hour line got yanked out. A bunch of understandably angry and overworked game developers then took to Twitter to decry this thing, because often the amount of hours worked and the overtime worked on a game is paraded around as a badge of honor, both by people that lead studios and bizarrely by the people who work them. It's kind of treated as this like war you have to
hardcore.
go through. Yeah. And if you can't hang with the big dogs, if you want to see your sunlight and your kids, well, get the fuck out.
Like you're not hardcore enough.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know it happens a lot with QA testers.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll want a job at the studio so bad that they'll work more than anyone else, and some of them even have awards for which QA tester put in the most hours in a week,
Really?
which is messed up.
That is
Like,
kinda messed
that's
up.
So they work
Bad
100
job.
hours just so they can get a job at the studio and have impressed everyone, and they're like, yeah, I put in 100 hours. I didn't sleep. I didn't shower. And you're like, that's bad.
Yeah, I hate the mentality that you don't care enough or work hard enough if you don't work crazy hours or
Constantly.
overtime
You're not
or
there,
more
yeah.
than everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was specifically, Alana, there were a number of developers that took to Twitter and basically posted their experiences. Adam Boyes basically
yeah.
said what you said. So
Yeah.
just to iterate this, my first job in games, we had a leaderboard where we tracked who worked the most hours in 1 week on the project. I made it to third place with 118 hours.
Jeez.
This is
In
sorry.
1 week.
Yeah. Iron Galaxy Studios CEO Adam Boyes. It felt cool, like you were committed to the project, committed to the cause, trying to impress the dev team. I was in QA, trying to make an impact. So few people were getting promoted onto dev teams that you wanted to stand out. Nobody asked us to do it. Managers told us to stop, but we didn't because it worked. Many of us got promoted because of our work ethic and commitment. Once I moved out of QA, the implied pressure to sacrifice anything to get the job done grew exponentially. It was quote unquote cool if you had a cot in your office or a sleeping bag under your desk. You were quote unquote hardcore if you ran out of clean clothes and had to shower at work. Thankfully, I didn't have a wife or kids during that period, so I was only hurting myself. But to those that worked with me or on my teams, I am sorry. I set a bad example, and I pushed the same rhetoric onto my teams. I spoke about commitment and sacrifices. It was bullshit. Today, I have one goal each day, to make it home and have dinner with my wife and kids. To be there for school events, vacations, baseball games, figure skating, family, Fortnite, or just to goof around. And guess what? I don't miss those late nights one bit. I'm very proud of I to the G, which is Iron Galaxy's Twitter account. and the commitment Joseph J. Brony made to the people that work here when he started and to Jesus Hot Wheels, which is a great Twitter account. Blasco, I guess, the COO of Iron Galaxy, upholds to the work-life balance standards to this day. So there are a number of other stories. I'll list those in the description of the podcast if you want to go down and see people's firsthand accounts of how brutal game development can be. There's a lot of very good people sharing some pretty brutal work conditions that they either created or human beings sort of created on their own, and how damaging those can be. Just a couple of things to mention. So also in the Vulture.
Redemption.
Vulture.
Yeah. Redemption. Also in that article, they mention they did 2,200 days of motion capture work compared to just 5 for Grand Theft Auto 3. That requires 1,200 actors, all SAG-AFTRA, 700 of them with dialogue.
Oh my God.
Quote, "We are the biggest employers of actors in terms of numbers of anyone in New York by miles,"
believe that.
says Dan.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't the U.S. Like,
Yeah.
Sounds like
1,200.
anywhere.
it's a lot of people.
Holy crap.
So one thing to weigh in accounting with the offhanded mention of long work weeks is that they do hire a lot of union actors and abide by all of those rules, despite that being very expensive. A developer on that level wouldn't be able to get away with doing non-union shoots. But regardless, so after all this blows up, Dan Houser issues a comment to Variety trying to clarify what that statement meant. And here it is, quote, "The point I was trying to make in the article was related to how the narrative and the dialogue in the game was crafted, which is mostly what we talked about, not about the different processes of the wider team. After working on the game for 7 years, the senior writing team, which consists of 4 people, Mike Unsworth, Rupert Humphreys, Laszlo, and myself, had, as we always do, 3 weeks of intense work when we wrapped everything up. 3 weeks, not years. We have all worked together for at least 12 years now, and we feel we need this to get everything finished. After so many years of getting everything organized and ready on this project, we needed this to check and finalize everything. More importantly, we obviously don't expect anyone else to work this way. Across the whole company, we have some senior people who work very hard purely because they're passionate about a project or their particular work, and we believe that passion shows in the games we release. But that additional effort is a choice, and we don't ask or expect anyone to work anything like this. Lots of other senior people work in an entirely different way and are just as productive. I'm just not one of them. No one, senior or junior, is ever forced to work hard. I believe we go to great lengths to run a business that cares about its people and to make the company a great place for them to work." So after all that said, I believe that's where the discussion doesn't become as easy to throw censure at Rockstar or their work culture. I don't know, I guess individually, what are your experiences with work culture? Have you ever felt actively or passively taken advantage of because of that? And how do you feel about how that relates to this circumstance where there's a culture that permits overwork, doesn't ask it, or theoretically encourage it? I don't know, is it people's responsibility to go into someone's office, say, get out, and if they're voluntarily working? I don't know where you draw that line.
Well, we should mention that a couple of years ago, there was a letter from the wives of Rockstar San Diego that was basically this thing that all of these women had written regarding their husbands who worked at Rockstar San Diego, complaining about how much they all worked. Okay. So this is something along the lines of, it seems like Rockstar has had sort of a history of this. It's not just this isolated incident.
They collectively came together and wrote that?
Yeah,
So
we're like, they
something in
work too much, we never see them.
Is there something more recent than that, or is that?
I don't think it's more recent than that. And
Okay.
they could have obviously adjusted since then, but it's not like this is the first time that this has been spoken about.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wives of Rockstar San Diego employees have collected themselves.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like this full letter about how much they work that I think is interesting.
It's really interesting because this is living in a capitalist society. Generally speaking, work and lots of it, hard work, is respected typically. So like when you're coming up, usually you're putting in a lot of hours, or you're watching like your manager or your boss or even another coworker do the same thing, and you're watching them advance. And that's what Adam Boyes was trying to say, I think, previously. It's interesting. He's like, now you know what, I would never do that again. I love being with my wife and kids, but what got him there?
Yeah.
True.
And that's sort of, and I'm not saying that it's accepted that we should be doing this, like that we should be like going in 100-hour work weeks or whatever, because I've had my own experiences with that. I'm sure we'll get into it in a few minutes, but who's to say where do we draw that line and what actually got you there? Because now, 15 years, 20 years into his career, Adam can go, it's cool, I'm gonna go home and see my wife. But
You're absolutely right.
What about the beginning, though? And also speaking from a manager perspective, since I'm a manager here, if I see someone working hard, I typically will go, like, if they're like here staying late, John Smith did a lot of it, where I would go to John and be like, you need to leave. Stop it. And he's like, no, I'm really enjoying my job. I want to stay and do this.
Yeah.
And I'd always be like,
That's
all right.
a good thing for a manager to do, though.
I was like,
aware.
all
Yeah.
right, you know what, man? If you're doing it, go for it.
Yeah.
And not speaking to John, but others, I've watched people burn themselves out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that that's going to happen, so I watch that happen, and then later on I go, oh wait, okay, I saw. So it's, but again, free will.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
can't
I can give
control
examples
people.
of that at IGN where, so the one time that I was so down to work and sleep only 4 hours and sleep at the office was when we got Breath of the Wild early. I was like, I don't care. I will cover the hell out of this game. I will finish it before it comes out, because I was so excited about it that I was
Yeah.
fine with doing that. We were literally sleeping at the office, 2 of us playing in the same room because we only had 2 codes, or 3, I think. Sleeping there, waking up, doing the same thing the next day. Totally down for it, didn't mind. But
Did you
there
like
were-
play it in your sleep? at some
Basically,
point?
but it was really cool. Like, it's one of like the best experiences I think I've ever had, and I
Yeah.
will remember it forever because it was 3 people being so goddamn excited about everything they found in that game, sitting in this room that was just like sweaty and awful, but just like powering through it as a team, and it just it felt good in a way that's like, that's unhealthy and we shouldn't have done it,
Yeah.
but it felt good. But then there are also times where I'd be there till 3 a.m. and I would tell my manager and be like, oh well. He'd be like, why haven't you left yet? And I'd be like, I have these 3 things to do. And at no point would he ever be like, let's take that off your plate. He'd be like, that sucks.
Let's get you more help.
See ya.
Something like that.
So it's like there's a balance there, I think, that it can be really hard. And people never talk about it because it probably doesn't seem as harsh. But games media is totally brutal to work in for the exact same reasons that development is, in that you can work absurd hours. November is a really hard time for anyone who's reviewing games because you have to play so much and cover so much. But I think that games media should also unionize. I know Kotaku is unionized, but it's the same thing. And I think it comes from the perception that you're lucky to be here. It's like everyone's like, you're lucky to have your job. You're lucky that you get to do this for a living. And I would totally prefer to talk about video games than to be an accountant. So I get it. But it just comes from this mentality that employers are like, well, you're replaceable. Everyone wants your job. So we don't care how hard you work. Just keep going.
The constant pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of mixed about it. On one hand, I think that everyone should have the right to work as much as they want because some people just legitimately love their job. And I know at Rooster Teeth, we have this mentality of you're responsible for your own shit. So as long as you get your shit done, you're good. You could work X amount of hours or go into the night if you want. The only time that really happened to me was when I was working on RTX back in 2012 to 2015-ish when I was co-directing it with Gus. And there was just 2 of us, so I would spend a lot of late nights at the office. But I think it's on the managers and the heads of the company to realize that whatever task needs to be done or whatever is being worked on requires either more help or more employees or whatever it is, more time for the project. And it's their responsibility to look at that and see that it's not healthy for this person to be working this many hours or
Yeah.
this group of people to be working.
I suspect that some of the games industry has people in management who don't have management experience but are there because they were devs for such a long time. So it's a seniority thing rather than people who are actually good managers. And I think that is probably those people breeding the same culture that's if you work 100 hours, you'll impress me, so you got to keep doing it. But for example, we spoke about streaming Red Dead when we're allowed to, and I was like, I'll come in at 4 a.m.
Yeah,
I don't care.
yeah.
But that would be outside of work hours. But I'm I want to
But
do
it's
it.
something you love to do.
Don't care.
Well,
Yeah.
right, and that's the catch. I think with Dan at Rockstar, I don't know the way all of Rockstar is, but it sounds like he's just we wanted to be
That's what
there
I
for
suspect.
100-hour weeks, for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and just knock this out because we were super excited about this video game and making this video game. And I think the real key, the real crux of the whole matter is that it's not consistent.
Yeah.
So if it's feast or famine, so Breath of the Wild, Red Dead Redemption, you're going to come in and do 100-hour weeks for those 2 or 3 weeks at most. But you're not going to do that every single week for a year.
It's the nature of the job. There's some jobs
Right,
that
right.
people understand when they not sign up for it, but when they go into that field, they understand the nature of it. There will be crunch times. There will be times when you are miserable working 100-hour weeks or whatever it is, but then when that game is done with and you have some time off and you have lulls and ups and downs.
Yeah, you come in and you work a normal day. It's a 9 to 5 or whatever, and you're like, oh, thank God. This is the famine part of it. It's not the feast where you were in for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, killing yourself.
Yeah.
Ideally, that's the way a salaried job should work.
Yeah.
Because you're not paid hourly. Some QA testers, they are paid hourly. I remember I actually got a job at EA, never took it, or never ended up starting, but got a job at EA as a QA tester, and it was hourly. But a lot of QA testers I had talked to had said They were just going to go in and they were going to work their normal 8 or 9 hour day, and then they would just stay and not get paid for the other hours they worked because they wanted to put in the time and get noticed and the whole deal. It works, by the way. Everyone notices, but it's something that, like, I guess it, it's like if you enjoy it and you're single or whatever, you're not killing yourself, killing your health and all that other stuff, and you want to do it, I guess go ahead.
You're with someone who understands.
It seems like from the top down, then it would have to change that you would have to rethink that hours put in should not mean you get a promotion. Quality of your work should mean you get a promotion, but that's really hard to quantify. And I just remember there's an Australian saying about Americans, because it might be an American thing, that's Australians work to live and Americans live to work. And that's like a thing that everyone says all the time, because Americans tend to work constantly, earn less money, and take less vacation, because it's like 10 days here or something. Australia, it's 4 weeks. So it's like, it's just so different.
No, it's totally different.
I don't get, given American work culture, I don't get how, I mean, maybe it is, I guess I'm speaking completely out of my depth here, but I feel like with as much as Americans work and as furiously as they work, they should dominate like every field, all of them.
I mean,
it doesn't seem like that's true, though.
Americans don't dominate every field, but
Japanese still do it though too, right?
Yeah, that's true.
GDP though typically ends up being some of the highest in the world.
That's true. It's just I guess all the money's just going somewhere else.
Well, and that's sort of the thing, is that, like, again, I'm like, we're not economists here.
Is there
That's true.
any place in the world that has a 4-day work week? Is that something that exists?
I think there are places in Europe that have 4-day work weeks.
There are also businesses here that have tried that. I've actually many times thought about that here. Because I was like, I wonder because I would, man, a 3-day weekend is the best.
It feels
I love
like
it.
a treat every time it happens.
Oh, it's the best.
Well, like today I came in late, and it was way easier because I've written the entire of Gaming Weekly. Because I can do it from home. You get shit done way faster, right? So it's like I've written 2 of the 3 stories that we'll have, and it's done. And it's like, you can't do that otherwise. And that's the thing that I always tried to do at IGN and the job I had before that, be like, can I just have one day where I just write stuff? But it generally tended to be easier that I would go to a coffee shop nearby so I could still like come in for meetings or whatever. But that is a thing that I feel like more companies are slowly adapting to, I think.
The working from home.
They're trying.
Yeah, because you can be way more productive when you don't have people around you.
Yeah.
There's so many dogs in this office. They're all so cute.
Yeah, they're blowing up.
Very distracting.
I got a puppy now. Benson has a cone around his head. It's so good.
I think there are 6 dogs here today.
Yeah.
But they're all so well behaved.
Yeah,
They are. It's still very distracting. Yesterday, Adam and I were having a conversation, and your puppy walked past the door. Adam, mid-conversation, went, "Oh, is that the puppy?" and ran out of the room. He just was gone.
Jeez.
Walked back in and was like, "Anyway."
So what you're saying is more puppies at Rockstar.
More puppies at
That's all they
Rockstar.
That might actually
Then they
help.
get breaks. It's like forced breaks on this dog
it's like the new smoke break. Go pet a dog.
So that's something that I was curious about. So yes, if we unleashed a wave of puppies at Rockstar, I'm sure the quality of life would go way up, because how could it not? However, would everyone be okay with that being tied to, like, now Red Dead 2 comes out a year later?
Oh, you mean like the consumer?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And because it takes longer to make, you're spending more on personnel hours and stuff. Suddenly it's now $80. Like, I wonder if the people that are baying on Twitter about it are very upset. Would they be willing to endure the consequence of being nicer? Because this product exists because people are working on it.
Yeah.
And it's coming out when it is because people are working on it.
So I don't think Take-Two is publicly traded.
They are.
They are?
They are, yeah.
So that's a thing that I often wonder, if companies that are publicly traded versus private companies, does that affect release dates more? Because I know it was a hit for Ubisoft when
a
they
good point.
delayed Watch Dogs, because they are not publicly traded. I don't remember which one, but it's like
They have investor calls for sure.
yeah, but some of them who are publicly traded, it pisses people off when you delay something.
Absolutely, it does.
And
100%.
that's really the only way you can go around it. So it's, if it affects the stock market, but for those who are privately traded, it's people who are mad on Twitter. It's a PR disaster if you have to delay something. So people are like, I would prefer that you get this goddamn game out right now, whereas most people who work in the industry, the attitude is like, no, please delay it, don't kill people for this.
It's
But
like,
it's
would
hard
you-
for people to understand.
Rather face the wrath of the people who feel empathetic towards these people, or the people who want their game
They
and want
pre-ordered
now.
it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like they feel like they were promised something, and I kind of wish that everyone would just announce things later than they do. I think Bethesda's gotten really good at that. Privately traded company, ZeniMax, so they're different, but they basically announce something and then release it 4 months later. It like works really well for them.
Lawrence, you pose a fantastic question. You're elevating the discourse, which is, if you were to say, this game comes out a year later and it's $80, but the rest of the people that work on it are treated humanely and we can sort of prove that, are you okay with that, audience? People in the comments right now, are you okay with that? Because that's something that you really have to think about. Think about that from your perspective. think about it as like, well, am I willing to wait another year in order that people actually have normal lives? I don't know.
I think
Or,
most
yeah.
people would say no.
Really? You think
Yeah,
so?
I don't think most people think about it.
I think people want the reality without acknowledging the consequence.
Yeah.
So if you ask them the question, they'd say, of course. But when it comes to like actually surviving that year and paying more, they'd say no. It's kind of like the whole like trade-off. Everyone agrees, oh, schools are great. Raise taxes? Fuck no. That's kind of like,
Oh, right, yeah.
you're fine until it actually has a consequence on you,
An effect,
or in this
yeah.
case, your entertainment.
I think games are just
I
a
don't
lot
know.
harder to make than people realize.
That is absolutely true.
And crunch is a lot more brutal than people realize. And that I did a no-clip documentary about Dream Daddy, which is made by the Game Grumps here in LA. And because they're effectively indie, they self-publish, but it's still a known company. But they were the first team that I've ever interviewed who really candidly spoke about crunch because they don't have PR. So they were just very open about talking about it, and it was like kind of gut-wrenching. Like they were talking about like crying at the office and people breaking down and like yelling at each other in this period of time. And for them, it was a lot of pressure to release because that's what they had told the public. Like they had told people they would be doing it, and when they delayed for I think 2 days, people were furious at them.
You have all eyes
just
on
getting
you.
death threats, and they're like,
Yeah.
"We have to get this game out." So it's like they're being harassed, or also crying and just being mad at each other, and it just sounds so awful.
That's probably very common, though.
I think so.
imagine,
They're just the only people to willingly talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people in chat are very supportive of games having longer time and more staff. I wonder. I mean, you guys
right,
in
we
chat, I'm
solved it.
sure. But,
These are the good people.
yes, you guys are the good ones. The thing that I think I can empathize with in regards to understanding that pressure, or even that assumed pressure, is when it comes to like finishing an edit on time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Back when we were at Machinima, for sure. I mean, every Friday we'd be there till 8, 9, because we were starting a new thing, and we were all on board with putting that effort in there. But temperatures run hot. It's kind of like a band being on a tour bus together. You're just crammed in with people in a stressful situation.
And having
you start flaring
everyone
up at people.
pressuring you to
Yeah.
deliver.
Yeah. And you feel that implied pressure on behalf of the audience.
Yeah.
It's not that people are yelling at you on Twitter, but they will know if a video is late or doesn't go up on time. So you feel that on yourself. Like
It's
It's
also
the worst thing about
difficult-
reviewing games.
Yeah.
Like, you could get a code. Like, Telltale games sucked to review because you would get a code 6 p.m. Friday, because that's when they finished it. You play it over the weekend. You got to play it 3 times generally to make sure that you're seeing all the different choices. And then you have to write the review, and then you have to have it up Monday morning. So you have to do all your capture, do all your edit. And that amount of time, it's just like every time that I get one on a Friday, I'd be like, fuck's sake.
And also do a review that everyone agrees with.
Yeah, you can't win. And I feel like game reviews it seems like such a fun thing to do until you actually have to do it a lot. And then like my Assassin's Creed Origins review was, it was an event, so we had to go there and play it and then leave, and it was 5 days, and the game took like 45 hours to finish, and you're just sitting in this room playing it while also having to figure out how to write it and everything that you need to capture, just in this goddamn room, just like,
I think that's the biggest problem is that unless you're physically doing it, no one will truly understand the amount of work that goes into such as reviewing games, developing games, editing, whatever it is.
It probably applies to everything, though.
To everything,
People
yeah.
will be like,
Everything.
Bob, you just sit on a podcast once a week. What do you do for a
well,
living?
it's like,
well, actually.
doing all. I've done the social media for Rooster Teeth. Now I'm just the director, so I don't actually physically do it, which is great to have employees. But I remember multiple people would just say like, "Oh, you're just on Twitter all day. You just post tweets." And I'm like, I wish I could describe to you what goes into all this and this process and how like managing every different aspect of it and every different department and every different project and show and event and all this stuff. In a way where everyone will know the information at all times. Because
Yeah.
if one person didn't see a tweet that we made about something, this person doesn't know. So we
Yeah.
have to manage all the communication. And trying to explain that to someone who's never had that experience, there's really no empathy there.
Totally.
No, that applies to most trades.
Yeah.
You know, if you're an
Yeah.
accountant or if you work at the NFL or if you like something like that, they're all things that I think people are putting in 60, 80-hour weeks, and you just don't realize it.
Yep.
You're like, there are very few professions that I think we can see everything out on the field, and probably football. Sports are actually a really good analogy for me because it's like everyone kind of knows how to play a sport, right? You know how to play football, know how to play basketball. I'm not saying you're good at it, you just know how. And then you realize how many hours of practice it
Yeah.
took to get to be that good.
Or just even developing one single skill within that sport.
Yeah.
How
Just
much
shooting
practice
free
it takes.
throws.
We went to, we were in Vegas this weekend and we
Oh
went
my
to a live
gosh.
show, and some of the dances were insane. Like, bathtub guy.
Oh yeah,
Big
Little
fan.
bathtub guy.
Now I need to know that bathtub guy.
I wish I could know him better.
I followed him on Instagram. We both followed him
Yeah.
on Instagram. Some of them were so good, and they do
bathtub guy.
2 shows a night, and people would be like, "That's their job. They just do 2 shows a night, and then they dance for 10 minutes." It's like they probably rehearse constantly, all day, every day,
Exercising too.
years
working
to
on their
get like
diet.
as good as they get. Like it's so hard. And it was funny. There were these 2 dudes sitting in the row behind us
my gosh,
who
those
just kept
guys.
being like, "Look at that chick's ass," and just like the whole time. But we're like, "Sure, but she has that ass because that's she's been doing it for
Point.
5 years. It's her job is being like
It's point.
strong. It's,
Yep.
it's insane.
She worked hard.
Yeah, everything's just so much
worked
harder.
hard
than
for
And
that.
she came out of the womb like that.
Yeah.
Probably.
With dead ass.
They all did have nice butts. Bathtub
Dancers,
guy
man.
included.
Oh man, good God, bathtub guy. He was swinging through a bathtub, kicking up water, spraying it everywhere.
Sounds awesome.
It was
spinning
great.
around.
He naked?
He had
Almost.
jeans on, which were also wet.
Wet jeans.
Yeah,
That-
it added to it.
Really
He did like
uncomfortable.
hair flicks. At one point, he spat water on people, and there was one girl who was like across from us, but ahead of us, who was like, "I want him to spit on me."
Ew.
Make me wet.
Oh, he already did. Jeez.
You got very off track there, but
No,
point
that's
being,
all right.
everything is harder than people think it is. and
Yeah.
Including me.
Crunch is terrible, but I
After
also,
bathtub guy.
but I also
He
understand.
needs to post on Insta more. Sorry, go ahead.
I also understand why a group of 4 people would want to work extra hours because there are times where I want to do that.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, take a brief aside to hear from one of our sponsors, Amazon Prime, which lets you subscribe to individual channels. So if you can ever get away from work long enough to watch a movie or a TV series, you can do that through Amazon Prime and save money doing it. So you can basically create the lineup you want. I remember people calling for a la carte TV services like 5-6 years ago. It's here. It's totally here. All you can do is just go on to Amazon Prime. If you use our vanity URL, try primechannels.com/dudesoup. Scroll through, look at all the channels you want. Each channel has a free 7-day trial. And that includes channels like Showtime, Stars, HBO, CBS, All Access, Noggin, PBS Kids, PBS Masterpiece, Acorn TV, BritBox. The list goes on. So that's premium movies in addition to custom content, all of which you can just get a la carte. It's just a weekly thing that is lumped in with Amazon Prime. You do have to be a Prime member first to get Prime Video, base Prime Video, and then you just stack the channels on top of that. Personally, I'm subscribed to HBO and Showtime. HBO for the movies and the custom content. Showtime because they just launched Kidding, which I'm really excited to start watching. I haven't seen it yet, but they also have Romy and Michelle's high school reunion, so they got me there.
It's one of my favorite movies.
It's so good.
So good.
It's so good. It's weird because I really liked the soundtrack when I was a kid, so I had it on cassette. But then I went back and watched it like a month ago, and I was like, holy shit, this movie holds up.
It really does.
It's so good. So yeah, if you want to watch Romy and Michelle's high school reunion, that's on Showtime. Also, Baby Driver.
Mary.
And then Showtime also has Who Is America, Sacha Baron Cohen's new thing. So I didn't know that they had CBS All Access either. And I've been really curious to try Star Trek Discovery. And now that it's through Amazon Prime, I can basically keep everything in one place. Before I would have to go to CBS's website and clicking on 2 things is just too hard for me. So now hopefully I can actually maybe get through Star Trek in 7 days. Just get that trial, blaze on through it, and that way I don't have to accidentally fund young Sheldon.
Living the dream. Man.
Yeah, I know, right? I got a lot of. I'm on a whole cardio kick now, so I got a lot of time to kill. Maybe I can watch Star Trek. That would be the most nerdy thing in the world, by the way,
How are those things related?
because I can watch Star
Oh,
Trek
while you're doing
While you're
cardio?
running?
Yeah,
I
just
see.
like an
Got it.
exercise bike or something.
I understand.
That's my thing. But it's super easy to do. Basically, you can either scroll through the channel list, or if you just find the show you want, it'll tell you what channel that show is a part of, and then you can just sign up on it straight through the watch page. Since it's Prime Video, it plays on anything that plays Prime Video. So if you have like a media device, anything like that, Xbox, PlayStation, whatever you can watch Prime Video through, all of these channels will go through that as well. Again, you only pay for the channels you want, 7-day free trial for each channel, over 100 channels. You can see those at tryprimechannels.com/dudesoup. One more time, that's tryprimechannels.com/dudesoup. So thank you, Amazon Prime, for the sponsorship. Hopefully people aren't overworking there.
On Amazon?
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah,
widely
they
documented they
super
are.
are.
So.
Yeah. I feel like Amazon is the one big one. It's easy to go on Twitter and be like, your factory workers only paid $8, but how many of those people have Amazon Prime?
I think they recently updated announced that they're updating their minimum wage.
They are,
Yeah.
but they're also taking away bonuses and things like that.
What is minimum wage in the U.S.? Or is it different in every
State by
state?
state.
Yeah. The more conservative the state, the closer it is to. There is a federal minimum wage, and then states can set it higher if they want to.
Okay. What's
But
the
yeah.
federal one?
It's like
So whatever
6.
Texas is usually.
it was like 8. Could be 8.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
It did get bumped a while ago.
My first job out of
$7.25.
Yeah, my first
Ouch.
job out of university, I was earning $18 an hour. And then I came here and it was like, you can earn $6
How?
an hour.
Yeah.
It was just a call center. It was a
My-
crappy job. It's just that the wages are higher.
I worked at a Burger King, my first job, from the age of 15 to 17, and I was making like $10.25.
Yeah.
And when I heard that minimum wage here, I think at the time was like $5 or $6.
Yeah, I was making $5.25 an hour for my first job.
Oh my gosh! How
That's
does
a coffee.
anybody
Like,
get by on
damn.
that?
That I mean, it was back, a long time ago.
Sure.
I was
Back
getting-
when you could buy a house for $20,000.
100 years
No.
ago.
That was back when gas was under $1 a gallon.
Damn.
I know.
Even
know why I
still,
did
hard to do.
glasses.
I mean, it's old. It's really crow's feet. Isn't it?
Yeah. Mine was, I think, 6 something. But and you want to talk about bad work cultures? I was at GameStop, and I guess I could have quit at any time. But basically, once holidays started, like from Black Friday to New Year's Day, I would work open to close shifts by myself, which is weird because I was supposed to be allowed a break, and they just didn't do that.
Yeah.
Or if what was I supposed to do? Like lock the store for 30 minutes and then go sleep?
Yeah, GameStop is like, I worked there as well, and some of the bad stuff about working there is like, I was still in school. I was a kid when I was working there. And they would have meetings once a week, and they would just make you clean the store during the meetings, which would be like after hours, like 9
That's
p.m.
awesome.
No, it was terrible. They'd be
my
like,
God.
all right, we're having a company meeting, so everyone has to go in on their off hours. You have to clean the goddamn store for the manager, and then you have like a sit down for 15 minutes. And it was like,
the
I'm not getting
fuck?
paid for this,
Ours
but you
were-
lose your job if you don't go.
Ours was nowhere near that bad. I mean, I had to do all the cleaning. Basically, they made one person run the entire store,
Yeah.
which
I had
they
Sundays
still-
by myself.
Do they still do that?
Yeah, it's not an easy place to work.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It was EB Games for me, but I think it's
Yeah.
the same thing. You can't.
well, that's a good example of like competition creating shitty work conditions.
Yeah.
Because everybody just sit around and play video games all day. No.
With them, it's also KPIs. Like,
Uh-huh.
if you don't pre-order
IPTs.
get this many pre-orders in this amount of time, then you're fired. It's like, I can't make people do things. So they had this culture of making people lie. Like, they would be like, oh, well, if you pre-order this, you get something special. And then they wouldn't when they picked it up. But like, people would lie to customers just to make them pre-order shit.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Would you also get threatened with the like secret shopper that would come in?
Yeah.
They'd be like, we're gonna have a secret shopper sometime this week, so be on your best
I don't know if
behavior.
that ever happened.
I doubt it. Yeah.
yeah.
They probably just said it to us every
Yeah.
week. I had to clean the Burger King all the time.
Aw.
I remember
Every
the first
shift.
time I cleaned up vomit at McDonald's when I worked there. I didn't know how to do it. And so I just like sort of put a mop on this chunky vomit.
Just
Is
switched it
this
around.
right? I think the parent of the kid that had thrown up was like, you're not doing this right. He's like,
How do you clean up
you
vomit?
gotta pick up the chunks.
Ah!
Yeah, you have to actually like use. It's like cleaning up like blood
Yeah.
or something like that, where you have to use the paper towel to soak it
Oh.
up, and then put it in a bowl and throw it away.
Yeah.
Did you have like latex gloves or anything?
Well, the dad ended up picking up all the vomit, and then I just with the mop on the rest of it.
It's like when you
pretty gross.
squish a bug and you don't want to feel the bug.
Oh, I hate that.
It's like with vomit. Like I don't want to
Oh, the bits.
It's like picking up dog poop or something.
Yeah.
Same deal.
yeah,
feel, so I can't have a dog.
Yeah, it's
That-
actually
what
very
dogs
tough.
do? Yeah.
It's very tough to pick up.
especially if it's diarrhea. Anyway, take us out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I don't know if you guys have
Help.
aside from cleaning up vomit at a McDonald's, there was a particular Bruce. I know you've got one, and I'd like to
Yeah.
hear about it. But
I have a couple.
my like, I guess the closest that could be described to crunch is I worked for a banking software company, and they were customizing teller software for a bank in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So we were near deployments. They flew us. I was on the dev team. They flew us out to Green Bay, put us up in this hotel, gave us one rental car, and essentially we would work on site with this bank, customize like doing change requests and stuff to customize this generic software for their bank specifically. And yeah, we were just in like generic cubicles with a little post-it with our name on it, and we would go and work like 18-hour days. And since there was one car, there was no way to leave, and there was nothing to do in Green Bay. So it was just the atmosphere sort of created this terrible condition where essentially you just wake up, go to work, get off work. I would just go sit in the hot tub at the hotel for like 20 minutes and then go to sleep. And that was my daily cycle, and it eats away at your soul.
Yeah.
Whoa.
How long did you do it for?
That was about 3 months.
That's a long time.
It's about 3 months too long.
Yeah. Sometimes I get like shore leave. They fly me home over the weekend.
Jeez.
But I'd like get in Saturday afternoon. The whole time super depressed because I'd just be looking at the clock knowing that I had to go back in like 24 hours.
Damn.
Get back on a plane, fly back up. And just super cold, really depressing. What didn't get along super well with my work team either.
Well, that's not good.
So yeah, it was
This
just
had nothing going for it.
kind of no. I got a lot of reading done.
Was the pay okay?
Yeah, actually, but
Did they pay you overtime?
No, but they did give me a bonus that did not remotely equate to the amount of hours worked.
$25.
What?
It was, oh man. I got through some books, but that's the best I can say for that. I will say that experience did make it absolutely clear to me that I didn't want to stay in that.
Yeah.
The irony is that I then flipped to contributing hundreds of thousands of hours into something I did care about, all of which was unpaid, to start at least. It's when I really ramped up blogging and shit, writing about video games and trying to
Newsletter.
get into that. Yeah, well that was the first big break.
You had a newsletter?
Oh yeah, the
Well,
Inside Gaming newsletter.
Oh, I wanted it to be like the Lawrence Sonntag.
I mean, that's essentially what it was, because nobody read it. I got to do whatever I wanted. I got to dig some of those out. But yeah, Inside Gaming started up a blog, and that just about got me to where I could pay my rent just off that. But those were lean times, salad days. And then the newsletter somehow created a full-time position for me in LA, so I moved out for that. Still paid garbage. I think it was like $35K a year.
That was before you moved back to Dallas, right?
Yeah. Moved back to Dallas to start a family.
Yeah.
You see how well that turned out, because here I am, single.
No
But
children.
Daddy?
there might be some out there. But yeah, we're gonna need a big old DNA test. So yeah, Mr. O'Crab says there's so much cheese to eat in Wisconsin. I did eat a lot of cheese curds, but I was also like 3 times as overweight then as I am now. So gorging on cheese didn't do a whole lot of wonders for my like self-image and self-esteem.
Yeah.
Wasn't a whole lot to do. Also, there's a lot of beer and Green Bay paraphernalia, or Packers paraphernalia, I should say.
Yeah, did you go see a game?
No, because I
Alright.
didn't
do it.
I cared less about football then than I do now, and I
yeah.
barely care about it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was like every restaurant had a shrine to Brett Favre, like as you walked in.
Yeah, big fans.
Just like a napkin that he laminated it and put it on the wall.
Big fans in Green Bay.
Yeah, it was an experience. But I know that you got
Yeah,
some shit, man.
I mean, I have a lot of experiences. This is the beginning of when I worked at Attack of the Show. And this is kind of a matter of public knowledge, but when I worked at Attack of the Show, again, it's the same deal where I was a segment producer, and there were a lot of segment producers on that show, and the show was a daily hour-long live show. So Monday through Friday, there was an hour-long live show that we had to sustain. And I did it for almost 5 years, so 4.5 years.
What was your job on it?
I was a segment producer, so I would produce segments of the show.
Gotcha.
So 4 minutes of the show were mine, and I had to figure out how to. Actually, my segment was gadget review. I would review gadgets editorially. So I had to not only did I have to produce a segment of the show, but I also had to review gadgets. I mean, these are actual reviews that were part of Metacritic scores and things like that I had to do in 4 hours. And it was one of those things where I was like, man, if I ever fuck this up, it's going to be really bad.
Yeah.
And I really never did majorly. There were a couple of smaller fuck ups, but and so that job bred pressure. There was just a constant pressure over you. I did never have 10 minutes to myself. And I worked normal hours 9 to 6, but I was in at 8:30. I was leaving at 7, 8, 9. 10. Sometimes there were edits that we would do a normal day 9 to 6, and then go okay, well, you have to edit this show. This is a pre-tape that airs the next day, but it has to edit tonight. So we would
Yeah.
stay from 9 till about 3 a.m. and then I'd come in the next morning at 9. That happened once a month for about 2 years.
God, so I've said this publicly before, but the IGN show, the show that we did for Disney, was a daily show, was the worst professional experience of my life. The 3 months that we made that show. Thinking about doing that for several years.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Hour
Because I was a
day,
segment
every
producer and a
day.
host on that, and it was just I remember there was one day where I was like, hey, I have to have a business call with this company or whatever, and they were like, okay, you can do that on your lunch break, and I was like, that's not how lunch breaks work.
Oh, yeah,
it was
no.
a day that I had migraines and I was throwing up, still had to come in and shoot the show.
Didn't matter.
And I traveled 6 weeks in a row, no weekend, and I remember having a conversation with one of the executive producers and was like, when am I gonna have time to see my boyfriend? And they were like, that's the job. Just
Your lunch break.
okay. It was real bad.
No, yeah, I mean, I should say the people I worked with were amazing because they all did exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And they were badass coworkers, just incredibly talented individuals that all moved on to much bigger and better things. And that's what everybody did on that show. That's
Yeah.
just part of
That was for sure the same.
part of
from
the
my
deal.
experience there, yeah.
Except my job and a lot of the other segment producers were supposed to be, according to the laws of California, should have been overtime jobs. They should have been hourly paid. So if we had worked 12-hour days or 15-hour days or whatever, they should have been paid overtime. They weren't. We were all salaried. And I remember, because the point of a salary job, if you talk to anybody who has it's a white collar job versus a blue collar job, white collar jobs are typically salary, and they usually say, well, it's feast or famine. So sometimes you're working 80-hour weeks for four weeks or 2 months or 3 months or whatever, but then you'll have 2 or 3 months that are pretty light. So you can come in for a few hours
But
here
you
and there.
never had that, I
Never
imagine?
had it.
Yeah.
Never had it. So it was
For
just
how long?
For about 4.5 years. So it was just like this. It was like this. It was like literally a stained line of like, I was like, please.
Yeah.
I remember when I left that job, it felt like I had graduated college. Like I was like, I thank God I made it out alive. Like I just couldn't believe
How did you do
it.
4 years of that? Because not
Legit,
having
3 months killed me.
a lull at all would actually kill me.
I don't know.
Are you okay?
I mean, yeah, like I learned to cherish the other things in life.
Yeah.
So like in the sense that I know now what a hard working job is. But also, so at the end of that, all of us kind of came out of that being like, that was totally illegal. That had to have been illegal, right? So one of my friends, who was a segment producer at G4, and now he's a fantastic producer, works for Microsoft. He was like, I'm pretty sure that was illegal. I'm going to talk to a lawyer and get together a class action lawsuit. And that's what we did. We got together a class action lawsuit against NBC Universal at the time, which it still would be. And they immediately, it was like one of those things where like they immediately wanted to settle.
Oh, wow.
Because they knew. They knew that we had all been working ridiculous overtime hours, and it was like it was funny because like we all submitted time cards for basically the hours that we thought we had worked overtime over the course of 4 years, and I mean it was thousands and thousands of hours that there was no like if they had paid me out I would have made $250,000 or something, right?
Yeah.
They didn't. It was like they knocked it down from whatever amount to whatever amount to whatever, like all the way down. Not a bad payout, but it wasn't worth what I worked.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
It's the thing that gets you is, I spoke about this on the podcast when we were talking about the telltale thing, that someone's tweet was something along the lines of like, no matter how much overtime I put in and all that time that I spent away from my family, I still got laid off. It's like a thing that
100%.
stuck with me because like you can work all those hours, but then you look back at it and you're like, I didn't do anything except work. No,
Yeah.
I think that's what my first year in the US was like, is like I don't associate. Like, I feel like I never lived in San Francisco because I lived at IGN. Like, I feel like I didn't live in that city at all. I was always just there. It's like, it's so weird to think about. And I had plenty of like awesome experiences there, but so much of it is just like, didn't really have a life, didn't really do very much, just work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it was. I started looking at it from another perspective, which was I made a lot of really good connections with people there.
For sure.
I also made it so that it's very rare that pressure gets to me now because I kind of made it through that.
You also probably have like good time management because you had to.
I know I had to.
The skills that you learned.
Trial by fire, yeah. I mean,
Good at coming up with segments.
I'm good at coming up with segments for shows. Yeah, it was just like one of those things where like I look back now and go like, yeah, I get it. That was part of my life. It should have been part of my life. I'm glad that it was. But also, realize when you're getting taken advantage of. One of the other things that I realized, like I thought about it logically from a company perspective, not from the person's perspective of the company. I was always like, why would a company allow all of these employees to work so much overtime and never pay them out? They must know that they're going to like sue and they're going to be unhappy and blah, blah, blah. And what I realized was when I submitted my time card, it's like, oh, you're going to pay me $200,000? Sure. They saved money on all of those people and then got all those hours out of me because even if they get sued, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect NBC Universal, right? Nobody cares. You're still going to watch NBC. And then also, they made money on me, right? Because they didn't pay me out nearly what I had actually made. So that's a win-win for them.
Oh yeah. In the worst situation, which is what
In the worst
you tried to press
situation.
them on. It's the only thing you could do is, I guess,
Most
refuse to
people
accept
wouldn't.
any
Yeah,
settlement.
most people wouldn't.
Go to trial, like contact media companies, try to make a whole storm about it. That's so
Yeah.
much effort on
And
your
they
part.
know
that
you
wouldn't
probably won't do
necessarily
it.
yeah. So they still get more of your life.
Yeah, and we didn't. We hired a lawyer, but it was like, but we settled. So
Yeah.
we didn't go to trial or do any of
Yeah.
that stuff. Yeah.
It's good that you did that.
Yeah,
actually thought
I mean,
to
like I'm really glad. His name was Sean. He was the one that headed it up, and I am in debt to him to this very day. I'm really glad that he organized that whole thing.
Really glad you got your $25.
Hey, you know what? I
Feeling
went
good.
out and had a nice dinner that night.
Mediocre.
Almost
dinner.
paid for it.
No alcohol.
Really
Double
big
chicken
McDonald's.
on the Chipotle bowl. Booyah. Damn. Well, if you got some stress to get out because you're working long hours, you might want to look into Beachbody, another sponsor of this podcast. So Beachbody On Demand is an online service, sort of like any other video platform you may be familiar with, except it has all the breadth of Beachbody's workout programs, including some like nutrition guides, and then support forums and stuff like that if you feel like you might be working out wrong, you want tips on forms, stuff like that. So they say they have hundreds of effective workouts for all fitness levels. It's pretty cool. You can do bodybuilding, weight training, cardio, HIIT, or high intensity, to yoga and even dance workouts. I've been a fan of the yoga stuff recently because I still go to the gym, I lift my weights, but I've been realizing the older that I get that my body kind of isn't really toned top to bottom. A lot of garbage muscles that I never use that are way weaker than they need to be.
Garbage muscles.
Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of resistance band stuff lately. It's about as masculine as a dude holding a baby, which, as Piers Morgan told us all, is the most feminine thing you can do. So I've been getting my E levels up, my estrogen's popping out, but it's still really worth it, and it has done wonders for my general feeling of well-being and also my balance and posture and all that sort of stuff. So basically, long story short is, whatever gap you feel like is in your fitness life right now, you can certainly fill that in with something on Beachbody On Demand. You can also access anywhere and any time, since it's on the internet. I do a lot of just off my phone. Whenever I do my yoga routine, I'll just throw the phone on the ground right in front of me so I can hear it and look up at it. It's actually easier to see something on the ground than to arch up and look at a TV. So yeah, I've been doing weekend warrior workouts with my boy Ted. We're getting very intimate with each other. I like the phase of a workout video when you know exactly what somebody's going to say and how every time. Every time he drops that namaste on me, I say it right back. I got your back,
You're
Ted.
like, namaste right here with you.
Yeah, right here, Ted.
Oh, nice, Barbara. Jeez.
Damn it, took me a second. Oh, I feel so proud. I feel so proud that you dropped a Barbara quality pun on this podcast.
I saved it just for you.
Man,
Thank you, I appreciate
terrible.
it. I'm also going to do the 3-week yoga retreat, which is supposed to be like a 3-week thing. I'm going to become a full-on yogi, so get ready for that. I'm going to be walking around barefoot with a yoga mat on my back.
He's not.
Hell yeah.
Put my hair in ponytails.
Hell yeah.
Can't wait.
How are you going to do that?
Just pull it.
Life finds a way.
Do you know what a ponytail is?
Is that right?
Clearly.
Never mind.
You got it.
I'll get the little Spice Girl nubs. That'll be me.
Okay.
Nubs.
What are those called? You,
Pigtails?
Point it
Yeah,
up,
pigtails.
but no, when you pull it up and then loop it back around, so there's like a
it's
ball.
like a bun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of them. Like the Naomi one, or just this,
It's still never called a
two
nub.
horns.
Yeah,
Wow.
I would just call them a bunch of mini buns.
Maybe it should be. Maybe it should be called a nub.
New trend.
Think about that.
I don't like it.
So right now, you can get a special free trial membership to Beachbody On Demand, including their 14-day results plan, which again, they claim could lose up to 9 pounds. I guess if you consider that the maximum possible amount that a human being could lose before dying, that's
a lot.
possible. That's a lot. I would say in 2 weeks, 3, probably a good safe, and that's still a lot.
Yeah.
That's still a lot.
Try not to lose 9.
But yeah, maybe if you're carrying a whole lot of water
Unless
weight.
you got a lot of weight to lose.
Yeah, and that may be true. So yeah, but if you get on some good workouts and change your diet, I think you might be surprised at the speed at which your body responds. But keep your expectations realistic. But you can still check out Beachbody On Demand by texting DUDE to 303030. So that's just the number 303030. Just text the word DUDE to that to get your full access free trial, all for free. So again,
cool.
that's
You can
DUDE to
text it.
303030. Yeah, thank you, Beachbody On Demand.
I used to do Beachbody workout.
Which one did you do?
I did a Turbo Jam.
Ooh.
It's one of the older ones, but it
About
was
knee raises and punches?
it's a lot of punches and a lot of ab stuff and
Cool.
rocking back and forth. I had a lot of fun with it. I did it in college, not high school.
Oh man.
But yeah,
I-
it takes me back.
Maybe I should get into that stuff. Lately I've just been exercise biking and found a place where I can wedge my switch into the bike, so I'm just biking and flailing my arms around,
Yeah.
but maybe doing some high energy punches and kicks will also set me straight.
Yeah, it really, really works.
All right, so speaking of empathy, I recall you guys talking about how it's difficult to empathize with somebody without knowing anything about what they do, but a certain, almost got through it,
I was trying to make a joke.
a certain gentleman taught me how to empathize this week. That's right, we have a special story to share with you. It's one of Lars's lads.
Oh.
Is here now. Omar,
What?
please, thank you.
Lars Lads is a thing where Lawrence picks somebody that he likes. That's all it is.
And that's it.
One person a week.
Yeah, basically. Well, it depends.
I like
Depends
the face.
on what I can find.
Well, it wasn't one of them that guy who set up traps
Yes, there was a guy who set up
to murder people?
very deadly Home Alone style traps in his house
He was
because
cool.
he was being sued by his mom for elderly abuse. Lost the case, so he had to sell his house. They let him out of jail for 2 weeks to prepare the home for sale, In those 2 weeks, instead, he just rigged up in a variety of death traps in the house.
Awesome.
Like there was a wheelchair that
had a shotgun in it that
Yeah.
actually shot a cop. He put a hot tub on its side that was supposed to roll down a hill Indiana Jones style and crush
Whoa.
people. No one died, but anyway, that was one of Lars's lads.
That's rad.
for being
you
an
know
asshole.
what you're in for.
So this one seems bad on the
Through
surface.
screen.
This one seems very bad, but actually, after reading into it, I don't know. It's not as easy to shit on as it seems to begin with. So yes, Idaho Fish and Game Commissioner resigns after bragging about killing a family of baboons. He went to Africa and emailed several photos of him in front of a family of baboons, parents and children, stacked up, dead. And people were like, "Yo, you can't do that," especially if you're the game commissioner. So he is resigned.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it seems horrible.
Why would you pick this guy?
Because he taught me about empathy, Barbara. So, all right,
He's being
Are you a sociopath?
maybe. No, I'm going somewhere with this, for sure. So, actually, I read the full article, because, boy, the headline is just something you could just go on Twitter and be like, fuck this guy. It was all legal. Did it entirely legally. There is game in Africa that costs money to hunt. Baboons are not one of them. Like, you can just drop them, and you can do it legally. And that's what he did. He did it with a bow as well. So when I was reading about this, essentially the guy is like, I didn't do anything wrong. Sure does seem like he did, but he actually kind of didn't. So they refer to something called ethical hunting in this article. And there's more references to it in this report from the Idaho Statesman. And I was like, ethical hunting? What the heck is that? Well, yeah, let's not show that.
Yeah. I super don't want to see that.
Yeah.
So
Super don't.
let me pull out some quotes here. So, quote, "I'm sure what you did was legal. However, legal does not make it right." Fish and Game Commissioner from 2007 to 2015, Fred Treby, wrote in the email obtained by the Idaho Statesman through a public records request filed with the governor's office. So what happened is the game commissioner that resigned sent an internal email to some other people that he worked with being like, check out all these animals that I bagged. And the people were like, don't do that.
Yeah.
So wait, he was legally allowed to do it? Mm-hmm. Oh.
And he even responded with that.
But they didn't know that?
It's not that. It refers to ethical hunting, which I'll get to in a minute.
Okay.
So in Nambia, Fisher, who is the gentleman that has resigned, actually, I'm pretty sure he resigned. Anyway, received a list of species he could hunt, he said. He was required to pay a trophy fee for certain animals. Quote, "Baboons are free," he told the Statesman. Quote, "I get it. They're a weird animal. It's a primate, not a deer." I guess he thinks that's why people might get upset. Let's see here. Steve Adler of Idaho for Wildlife, a pro-hunting group based in Lewiston, said Fisher's photos were his primary concern with the email. Idaho's Hunter Education Manual includes a section on respecting non-hunters. The manual includes this recommendation, quote, "Refrain from taking graphic photographs of the kill and from vividly describing the kill while in earshot of non-hunters."
There you go.
Quote, "It's everything we preach against in hunter's education," Adler said. "It just sends the wrong signal." Quote, "The biggest thing is the baboon thing. I was really troubled. That's my biggest issue. He killed the whole family. He killed the whole baboon family, and you've got the little junior laying there in his mom's lap. You just don't do that. I hate wolves as much as anyone, but I'm not going to take a wolf family and put it on display and show the baby wolf." Goes on another quote here from Fisher. "I was raised in a very ethical hunting family," he said. "In every picture, we try to pose the animals in a natural position, wipe the blood off the mouth, place the rifle or the bow over the bullet hole. Those are normal hunting photos. You shoot an animal, you take a picture of it." So I started reading up about ethical hunting, which, as the name implies, has a lot of stuff like give the animal a chance to escape. If you wound it, make sure you kill it humanely and quickly. Make sure you're in proper shape to hunt. A whole lot of things that are just about like, please respect nature, respect the animals you're
This
hunting,
is
respect their...
worldwide?
Yeah, so I
certain
got
regional?
it from the Game Management Authority in Victoria, Australia. But there are tons of guides.
Didn't know you could hunt in Australia. Cool.
Yeah. Here's some quotes. Quote, "Ethical hunting means that a person knows and respects the game hunted, follows the law, and behaves in a way that will satisfy what society expects of a hunter." That's a really interesting phrase to me. Ethical hunters are familiar with the places they hunt, the wildlife that live there, and the way they should behave when hunting. Practicing ethical hunting techniques in the field will ensure that you get the most out of your hunting experience and will assist to secure the future of your recreational activity.
That makes sense, because then if you like disillusion a bunch of people about hunting, then they're going to outlaw hunting entirely,
Yeah.
and you're not going to be able to do it. So.
Let's see here. There's a whole section in this particular guide, and was referenced in the other one, about how ethical hunters also have to be careful of how their hobby is represented. which means you don't brag about killing an entire baboon family and show
Absolutely.
those photos. Quote, people who are unfamiliar with hunting practices may be intimidated by the presence of firearms, so be sympathetic to their concerns and as much as possible keep firearms out of sight. Be considerate, be courteous, and show the public that deer hunters are responsible and ethical recreationalists. Good hunting behavior will reflect on people's opinions on all hunters. Rude, illegal, and irresponsible actions can prejudice the community against all hunters. So,
Can you imagine if there was a guide like that for gamers?
no,
Don't
geez.
tweet death threats
Oh,
at
yeah.
developers when they do something
There
you don't
maybe
like.
should be.
Yeah, there should be.
So what I find particularly fascinating about this, I'm not a hunter, but the exact thing that these guides recommend against, like photos that could be misinterpreted by non-hunters, is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
That photo got out, everyone got really upset, and even though that hunter technically was legal and did the legally right thing, represented it in a bad way, it got in the hands of a lot of people who,
Well, he disobeyed the ethical hunting rules by
Yeah.
taking that photo, right?
yeah, the manner in which he took the photo.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting because when I first read that article, I was like, man, fuck this guy. And then I read the whole thing and I was like, oh, I guess he didn't do anything illegal.
He has very little tact.
Yeah, that's the word
In this
I'm looking
specific
for.
circumstance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just no tact at all. Because I mean, like, it sounds like he probably went out and did the legal thing. Also, I mean, killing a baby. animal.
That's the thing
I
that
mean,
gets
like,
me
what's
is
that?
the
I'm
like.
Well, if you kill the parents, I mean, the child is not going to have a great time, which I'm not, like, I don't know anything about hunting
baboons
primates.
work.
Huh?
How do baboons work? I don't know if they work that way.
I don't
They
know.
probably do.
I've seen some fucked up shit on planet Earth about primates. I don't know about baboons specifically, but
Well, it's kind of like you could equate it to being somewhere where you're smoking a cigarette in a place that is legal to smoke a cigarette, but then like if there's a baby being carried by, you like
Right.
puff a smoke into its face. It's like, yeah, that's not very ethical, but it's
Technically legal.
technically
That's a good
legal.
point. That's a good example. I've seen people do that. Or some
Yeah.
people are like, oh, I got to put my cigarette down because there's a baby around. And others
Yeah.
are like, fuck them. I can smoke whenever I want. I can smoke here. I'm allowed. I'm gonna blow smoke. And then
right.
they do. And everyone kind of goes like side eyes them a little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, this asshole.
Yeah, I know.
I found it interesting because I grew up in like around a lot of hunters and just always kind of had a weird attitude towards it. Never was for me. So I did have certainly an emotional impact first, but it was fun, I guess, to read up about the actual culture of hunting and how my initial gut reaction wasn't really an issue. It was just kind of an example of somebody who had no idea what I was looking at, having an emotional punch, and then kind of digging in a little bit and seeing what the actual truth of it was. So, thank you.
Why was it legal? Like, I don't know how the laws work. Is it that
Did you just
baboons,
hunt
there's lots of
baboons?
baboons or something?
I did not read too much about African hunting laws, aside from it does seem that everyone in the hunting scene agrees that he did the hunting legally. It's just the showing of it was the problem.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
There may be like an overpopulation of baboons or something.
Like you're allowed to kill camels in Australia.
Right.
Oh yeah.
There's too many of them.
Yeah. So I'm sure that's
There's
part of it. There was a lot of other
Really?
stuff he kind of bagged while he was.
Too many camels.
Camels?
Yeah, in the outback.
I had no idea there were even camels in the.
I didn't know.
Neither
there
did I
was
till I
any
found
camels.
out. I guess they were imported and then they just spread like crazy because there's so much open space. So
They
you're
humped a
allowed
lot.
to kill them. Probably.
Nice.
Humped.
Nice, Barbara.
2 for 2.
Barbara's warming up. She's
Ding,
warming
ding.
up. Just when this is over. She's
Yeah,
like
that's
For
going,
the ending.
That's why this podcast is 90 minutes long. When you start getting your stride, you don't want to cut it off there. So wait, is there a downside to overpopulation of camels? Do they like overeat vegetation or something?
I assume so. I don't actually know what the issue is. I just know that you can kill them. I would guess that it's bad for the native wildlife.
Do they have? Is the meat good, or is it just like?
I've never had camel. I don't know. I'm not an expert.
I've had kangaroo meat.
I've had kangaroo
Yeah.
meat.
But isn't like kangaroo very, very, very plentiful?
There's so many of them.
Kind of like deer in the U.S.
I feel like there's more.
maybe, yeah.
There's so many.
It's just like roadkill there, essentially, in a lot of places.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing with if you can't really call it roadkill because they're so muscular that if you actually hit a car with a kangaroo, it'll more likely kill you than the kangaroo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because they're just bricks.
Then it's literal roadkill.
Yes.
So,
But
Yeah.
Kill
you
you.
die. Your car breaks.
That was a way
Kangaroo
worse.
just
I'm just
hops
gonna-
away.
Well, like 6 months ago, everyone discovered simultaneously that kangaroos are jacked and
Hell yeah.
terrifying
Super jacked.
because they just choke out their prey, right, with their arms.
They can't. They usually cut with their claws. But
Oh,
one
really?
thing that, I mean, they're pretty
Because
chill.
there was that kangaroo that was like headlocking that dog,
They
and that dude
can.
came up and socked it.
One thing
Edward
that gets me about
Scissorhands.
one thing that gets me at kangaroos is if like you walk past a pack of them, like there's tons of them, they're fine. They won't they're not aggressive, they're not going to attack you out of nowhere, but you'll walk past and they'll all just like be eating and they're on their fours and then they all just look at you.
Oh.
So you're like walking past and they're all just like, "Sup, motherfucker?"
That
and
is
you're just like kind
very
of trying to like, "Hey."
Came to the wrong part of town.
And then they like slowly go back to eating.
You're like, I don't want your food.
Good.
They're just making
Here's a
sure-
barbell.
Yeah, they're making sure they don't get eaten. That's all.
Yeah.
They're worried.
Ninja Chicken writes in, camels overeat vegetation in Central Australia, taking away food from native species.
Thank you.
There you go.
Wow. Too many camels.
Today I
It's the
learned.
ostrich war. Well, we don't bring that up.
Classic Australian animal. The camel.
The camel.
Definitely important.
Yeah.
All right. I also found, speaking of empathy,
All right.
found something for Bruce to read. So first of all, I got to set this up. Yes, Bruce is an orator. He enjoys fine literature.
Lawrence has declared me an orator.
I have.
This is a very long thing you'll be reading.
That's not even that
No.
long.
Well, yeah,
That's
it's a
nothing.
page long.
Really?
It's been longer.
No, I've read like 7 or 8 pages.
So there was a deleted scene from The Office.
I just love the soundbite. I've read 7 or 8 pages. Full stop.
All right, this one has volume. I don't know if it's coming through or not.
Do you hate that I am proud and brown and standing here alive? With baby oil on my Nubian thighs, I will survive. I will survive. Big Mama Angela. Doing a crossword. Let us do one last crossword together as brothers.
No.
Shall we? Yes, let's.
Nope. No. It's called hentai, and it's art.
So a deleted clip from The Office.
Why did they leave that in?
I've seen that so many times. I did not know that wasn't actually in the show.
Reddit referred to it as a deleted scene.
I like how that clip is called It's Art.
It's art.
It is art. As this Redditor made a strong point on. So Ron, the R-word Redditor, thanks for that, left a, the one you're
Rascal.
not really allowed
I'll
to
tell
say.
you later.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, left a very long comment speculating on what American culture could be like if they had left that scene in, and thus legitimized hentai for Western audiences. Almar, please, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
It's very cultured.
I like this. We don't have any of this on the RT podcast.
All right, this is from
You guys get like 5 times our viewership, so I'm doing something right.
Graphics.
This is from Ron, the R-word Redditor. 2,100 points, 2,200 points on Reddit. 3 golds as well.
Wow.
Ron says, I wish they left that scene in. Just imagine if the West became more accepting of hentai. By keeping that scene in it, would possibly prompt more adults to research it and get converted into hentai fans. I am one myself. In turn, increasing the amount that is imported and thus increasing hentai revenues in Japan, therefore increasing the amount of content created. We may have actually had anime studios like Feel and Zebek, or XEBEC, who have done their fair share of ecchi anime? Is that
Got it,
ecchi?
yeah.
Start to produce hentai too. The more accepting the public is, the less of a big deal hentai would be, and so we'd finally have superbly animated porn involving stepsisters, little sisters, cute aliens from outer space, and childhood friends.
All the goodies.
There just isn't enough of this porn in the West, and the Japanese are leading the way and leaving us behind. Not to mention we don't get hentai subtitled fast enough. Only a few high-profile hentai get subtitled quickly. But
Who's
because we-
reading subtitles in
but because we don't demand it in the West, then there's no commercial involvement and we have to rely on fan subbers, those kind souls. And so we miss out on a lot of the more niche hentai. I don't only watch hentai for the voluptuous thighs or the needle-like nipples on their gorgeous women. I watch it for the fantastic way they are able to describe sexual acts. When was the last time you heard the phrase, I can feel your fat throbbing cock ramming my... I can feel your fat throbbing cock ramming my cervix at light speed. I'm just losing my mind in anticipation for you to blow your huge white sticky load inside my tight high school pussy, big brother.
Why does it end with Big Brother? Damn it. Sorry.
I like high school pussy.
Never. That's when you last heard that in normal porn. Never. You know, not to mention that Yamate, is it Yamate?
Yeah, you got it.
Yamate sounds much cuter and less serious when it's mumbled by a girl with 2 cocks in her mouth versus stop.
He's got a point.
There's things that hentai can do also that no regular porn could. Ahegao?
Oh, Ahegao, yeah.
Ahegao
Eye
faces?
gouge?
No, here.
Ahegao, he'll pull up an Ahegao face.
Oh, good.
Ahegao
screen it
faces are
first.
one of God's greatest inventions. The way that a female having a huge convulsing orgasm can pull such a cute face is incredible. My cock survives on a Hagao, coupled with the cute mumblings of a mind-broken Japanese woman. And of course,
I think we're good, Omar.
animated hentai is better. Animated hentai is nothing compared to what many amazing Japanese men, maybe women, draw. The artwork in some of those doujins is better than anything which has come out of Italy in the past 1,000 plus years.
Wow.
Truly mind-blowing
Suck it,
stuff.
Italy.
The way they can make high school breasts seem so soft and shiny, the way they can perfectly sculpt midriffs, the way that they can get the absolute perfect amount of skin dentation on thigh highs, and the way that they can make asses look like the softest, most delicious things in existence. Cartoon porn artists in the West often create art which looks like it's straight from Cartoon Network, whereas hentai artists in Japan make art which looks like it's straight from the mind of a man with the greatest tastes.
Yeah, chef kisses.
Chef kiss.
Just imagine how much more advanced humanity would be, how much we'd progress, how much happier we would be as a whole if it was just acceptable to watch a large-breasted anime schoolgirl fuck her older stepbrother in the school gym. The fact that Japanese men have smaller cocks than us in the West is no surprise when you consider how large their brains must be to come up with the most erotic, blood-pumping art known to man. This is the sort of future we miss out on when mentions of hentai are cut from mainstream American sitcoms.
Beautiful. Oh, I wanted to frame that.
There's still time.
The thing is,
There you go.
he's just being like, I like this thing and would like more of it.
Yeah.
You could actually make a case for hentai that is about how economically standing, this is going to get real nerdy, a lot of
please do.
animators are severely underpaid. So porn tends to drive industries. Like, I want VR porn to succeed because it means VR will succeed, because porn is like the reason that DVDs succeeded
Right.
and the reason that VHS succeeded. If hentai were successful, in theory, there would be more animators, they would be more highly paid, meaning that sure, we would get more hentai, but we would also get better anime, better cartoons, etc. He could have made that case. He didn't.
Yeah, but that revolves around people being
know.
willing to pay for it.
Wow, man.
I feel like nobody pays for porn. Which-
But ads, right?
yeah, but then you have to have advertisers that are willing to be shown against a stepbrother ramming his little sister.
Talking about her cervix.
then-
Yeah.
Which
That's
I,
how-
for one, do.
Plowing
I mean, that's
it
how
at lightning
Pornhub makes
speed.
money. I think I told you literally yesterday, the first time that I ever saw porn was an accident, and it was hentai at the end of a Flash dating sim that was on E-Bombs World.
Or Newgrounds.
Newgrounds, yeah.
Yeah, it was
my
on one of
gosh.
the two.
Saw a lot of porn.
Hell yeah.
And so it like linked out like when you finish the game and you managed to successfully date the girl to hentai, and I was like, "What is?" I think it would have been 8. I was just like,
Yeah.
"What
Oh,
is
good.
this?"
Oh.
Yeah,
You didn't know what it was yet at 8? No, I'm kidding.
I might have. I don't know. I don't remember. But
Yeah, I think my
there's a case to be made for if porn succeeds, mediums succeed. So I get it. He was just like, I really just like it. It really
likes
it just
hentai a
gets me
lot.
off, and I want
really
more of
likes it. You failed to read the first comment response.
Sure,
to
go
this
ahead.
post, which is just, wow, man. And that's it. Which I think is the appropriate response.
It is. It totally is.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, he really spent a lot of time on that.
It's a very heartfelt, very strong message.
He also knows a lot about hentai.
It knows a
He's
lot.
convinced me.
Good.
Yeah.
Now you are a hentai ambassador to the West.
I am.
I would really like to read an article from someone like that on hentai versus real porn, and how they feel about which is better and why. I think that would be an interesting essay.
So there was a documentary about, I think it was about just sex culture in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And there was they did interview the dude who was like a masturbation champion or whatever, who had a girlfriend, bizarrely. They didn't have sex. But yeah, he just jacks off all day. And he basically, in a very Japanese way.
Got an award for that?
Really strong.
I think
form.
so.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like an image that goes around of a dude in an anime store, and he's like in a very Japanese way, very politely explaining how real porn is kind of gross because real women have like hair and smells and like things like that. And he's like, and then look at this. Isn't this so clean and pretty? I feel like that kind of
It's a
sums it all up.
cleanliness thing? Sure.
Well, depend if that's what you want. I think the idea is that you can
Talk about impossible standards.
I mean, literally impossible.
Yeah.
You have too much hair.
Guys like it because
Get rid of
since
smell
it's
weird.
fake, it can be tailored exactly to everything a guy wants.
Sure.
Oh,
But that's so subjective. How do you tailor it to exactly what a certain person
Well, that's why you spread your bets. That's where harem comes
That's
from.
why we need more hentai.
Yeah, you have a hentai that has 8 different chicks in it. Each one is a particular kind of like kink. Yeah.
There was a Reddit thread recently asking people who work in porn what like their worst experience is like, or like what are the
so
hidden
funny to read.
dark secrets of porn. And it's really a scary industry to be
yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Like there were some horror stories of people being mistreated and
Are you surprised?
not surprised at all, but I mean, it's another case for hentai of just like, if
That's true.
you replace.
Another case for hentai.
Because I like read one of those about a guy who was supposed to do like double anal for the first time, and he wasn't clean enough, and so just like kind of stuff got everywhere, and then he was grossed out by it and vomited, and then ended up crying because he was like, "I'm a professional. I'm so sorry. I've ruined the scene for everyone." And you're like, just like this huge disaster.
It's probably ruined a lot more for
Bodily
everybody.
fluids
Creepy
everywhere.
hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also apparently technology that can identify a butthole and, like AI-wise, lighten it.
Oh.
So like it tracks where a butthole is in any given
It's like a
scene.
bleaching
Oh, you mean
filter?
Yeah.
for
Nice.
like for editing purposes?
Yeah.
Oh.
And just
So you don't
automatically
actually have
lightens
to
it.
physically
They have
bleach your
face
butthole.
tracking. Why wouldn't they have butthole tracking?
Yeah. They do.
I'm gonna make a face bleaching joke, but that probably I should not do that.
Yeah. I was wondering, like, face swap stuff. Like, what if it accidentally tracked on an eyeball or something?
Have you guys seen this? What's it called? Like very realistic when they take someone's face and put it on porn.
Oh,
Deepfakes?
deepfakes?
Deepfakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah, I've seen. Yep.
Yeah.
I try not to look because I don't want to be grossed out at what people do.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
It is terrifying.
Yeah.
You know,
Someone,
yeah.
I came across this the other day because someone linked it to me on like deepfakes.com. Someone requested to have me made as a deepfake.
Oh boy.
I looked at this just the other day and I saw the thread and was like, out. Not looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
I'm fascinated by that because it is pretty fundamentally a violation of privacy.
The guy like even listed like, try this porn star because it seems like they have similar body
Oh,
types.
yeah,
I was just
that's-
like,
yeah.
So I mean, it started with I've seen threads of people requesting porn stars that like either look like their ex or look like a celebrity, and you know there's a whole marketing around that. Now that you have deepfakes, then it's like now you're just fully recreating somebody's likeness without their permission, and you can, and to a degree, people have always done this with celebrity. They take somebody's soul basically and just cram it wherever they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. At what point? I'm waiting for the first lawsuit where like what line has to get crossed? There's like deepfake plus VR plus like articulating like dick suck tube
Like at this point, yeah, you're just having sex with
Yeah.
Emma Watson.
and making her say or do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Another point for hentai, really.
Yeah,
If,
yeah.
if you ask me.
I'm not that bothered by it. Like it was a thing that I didn't want to read, but it's like,
What happens if somebody sees
not
that
me.
and assumes that it's you, though?
I'm just explaining it's not.
I hope that works.
I
but-
imagine if it gets advanced enough where it's hard to tell what's real and what's fake, that let's
Hurt
say
people's reputations, etc.
there's an employer, like if you're trying to get a job somewhere, that at that point in the future, people understand that that is doable and like you could replicate someone's appearance in that function. And like if you're like, this isn't me, they would believe you.
We
That's
are
a good
heading
point.
in a direction where things can be simulated so well that we literally are not going to understand what truth is. Like that Google phone call,
Yeah.
the AI,
yeah.
like that
Yeah.
stuff is going to be happening more and more. And I don't know, like 20 years from now, will we have any concept of what is real and what is not? That we, like, it's not that far away.
It's a different kind of attunement. I mean, people thought, you know, the War of the Worlds radio play was real
Yeah.
because it was the first believable thing that was distributed on a medium, and people hadn't really adjusted to like what advertising is and what lying is, or what theater is. I feel like it's going to be the similar thing where people just have worldviews and they make snap judgments about what's real and what isn't. The problem is, and you're already kind of seeing this, is that now you can choose what your worldview is, and it doesn't have to be informed by data because you don't know what data is anymore. So you just
People
choose
already
what the
do
most
it about
comfortable
like
thing
fake
is.
tweets, stuff
course.
like that, like comments they read. Like it's already kind of skewed that everyone has different understanding of what is real and what isn't. It's just as soon as it comes to be someone's face that is made on something else digitally and then their words put together to sound like something is when it's like, how do we discern what's real and what's not?
Then they make an Alana robot.
On a bot.
Alana bot.
Maybe she's already the Alana bot. Power down.
No. All right, got one more ad read.
Doesn't look like anything to me.
If you're not a robot, you'll have to brush your teeth sometimes, and we can help you do that with Quip. Yeah.
So you think.
So Quip is it's an electronic toothbrush, replacement heads of which are sold to you via subscription service. So once you get it,
So it's a robot.
they'll send them to you. Yeah, actually, robots brushing teeth with robots. That's what we got. But they got new tech in there. It's not just an electric toothbrush. It actually pulses based on a timer to tell you when to switch sides, to make sure that you brush your entire mouth the proper amount of time. They say they do this because 90% of people don't brush for a full 2 minutes and don't clean their mouths evenly on both sides. That I know I'm definitely guilty of, because I would start with the left top and I get in there real hard, but by the time I work my way back and forward and then back and forward, my arm's all tired. So it's mostly just going through the motions by the time I hit my back left. So I thought about mixing it up, and I did once, and it just felt wrong. So maybe Quip can help me with that. They also have multi-use cover mounts, so you can mount it to your mirror, and then it can just slide off, or it can cover the cap, so you can take it with you when you travel. Brush heads are automatically delivered to you on the dentist recommended schedule every 3 months for just $5. And I've had my current toothbrush for like 2 years, and I think that's well after. It's time for me to get another one, and I keep thinking about that. But every time I like order something off Amazon,
Have
I
you been
forget.
using the same tip for 3 years?
2 years.
Like the same.
Yeah.
Oh, you shouldn't be doing that.
I know.
You shouldn't be doing
Oh, come on! Doesn't everyone do that?
No.
Absolutely not.
I change like every 3 months.
You're supposed to change every 3 to 6 months.
I don't believe any of that.
I'm sorry.
Well, whatever. I'm out here. I'm a rebel. Quip will set me up. They say they're sending them to us, so I'm actually excited to get one. Yeah. No, yeah, it's been a while. So Quip has one of the first electric toothbrushes to be accepted by the American Dental Association and has thousands of verified 5-star reviews. Even the little cover, you can choose what color it is. I went with slate because it looked elegant. Quip starts at just $25. If you go to getquip.com/dude right now, you get your first refill pack for free with your toothbrush. So once again, the toothbrush, $25. Go to getquip.com/dude right now to get your first refill for free, which apparently I'm woefully in need of. So my teeth are going to fall out pretty soon. That's a bummer. Hopefully this.
Still look nice though.
Thank
so.
you.
Yeah, and your breath doesn't smell, so that's
Yeah.
good.
That's good to hear. I was
Somehow
actually getting
working for you.
self-conscious about that. Every time I put on the motorcycle helmet and I like breathe, I get a big nose full of my own breath, and I'm like, well, it doesn't smell the mintiest. It's not terrible.
Most people aren't that close to your mouth, so.
Also,
true.
you gotta change your toothbrush.
I do.
really
You're right.
It's time. Like maybe tonight. Probably tonight.
Lawrence
Probably
smiles
tonight.
and his teeth are all just black.
Yeah, with the amount of coffee I drink, I'm actually pretty grateful that my teeth aren't horrible. But anyway, yes, that's getquip.com/dude for a free refill with a Quip brush. So thank you, Quip, for the sponsorship. I'm excited for them to get here.
I'm excited for you too.
Thank you. So also, just in closing, this was something we don't really have time to get to, but I love this video so much. Whoops. Well, you know what? No, I'm not going to mute that. So there's a game coming out. Senran Kagura is one of the greatest works of art.
Hentai.
Almost.
kidding.
This I think would be classified as edgy, but yes, close. So this is a game with ninjas. You can tell they're ninjas, hopefully.
Yes, definitely.
From different ninja schools, doing various tasks. We've done a gameplay where there's cooking. The original game is a huge beat 'em up, so it's kind of like Dynasty Warriors.
Oh, I think I played
Omar,
it.
go full on that
It's
one.
not bad.
Yeah.
Go full
I
on that,
played the
Omar.
Dynasty
What,
Warriors.
really?
Yeah, go full on.
Why not?
Oh yeah, you can spray it down with
All
water.
the way full. There you go.
So this is from Peach Beach Splash, the competitive
Wow.
shooter where you have water guns that you just shoot each other with, and then it's kind of like Splatoon, basically.
Where do you keep the water guns?
You hold them, and you got little water tanks
Barbara,
on your
just right
back.
here, like this.
Yeah, with your hands.
Where does she keep them?
Just hold it. It's a very easy cosplay.
Yeah, thank you.
I was gonna say, yeah.
You're welcome.
So this is something called intimacy mode. I treat everything as validation.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah, you spray her down with water. She likes it. The problem is, so this is from Peach Beach Splash. The next remake, let's see here. Senran Kagura Burst Newell. Sony has refused the publishing of this game. Yeah, there's hands, by the way.
Yeah, why is it so
There's
bad?
grabby hands.
Whoa.
Well, that's like there was a VR game where you could touch women in bikinis.
Yeah,
And-
and they would like protest.
I think
Like-
yeah, because they didn't like it, they didn't allow it in the West.
Yeah,
Because they would be like, no, and you just like grab their
yeah,
butts.
you can grab and yank around those
What
boobs.
the
by way.
hell?
It's
That's
very
not how
sensual.
boobs work.
Sure it is.
This is like that game in Mario Party where you adjust Mario's
Yeah,
face.
Mario
Yep.
64.
Yeah.
Except they're boobs. There's
I
also
don't think that's how boobs work.
It's also a slap button. He'll get there in a minute. So Sony, because they are censoring us, has said that this mode has to be removed from the PS4 version of the game, but it will launch with the PC version. So that's horrible.
I know, I hate those hands.
This is art. Tom Leibschultz at the localization producer at XC Games quotes Neil Gaiman in saying, "If you don't stand up for the stuff you don't like, when they come for the stuff you do like, you've already lost." Goes on to say, "I don't like intimacy mode in Senran Kagura, but I've always stood up for it because of, well, this. This is how it starts, my friends. Welcome to the new 90s. So, yeah, you essentially grope her, and then a little heart fills up, and I guess you get grope points.
I don't like how they look like Mickey Mouse hands.
Yeah, I don't like that
Okay,
either.
I guess
Yeah.
like
They
her
look so
seeming,
creepy.
her
They
seeming
look
to not
slap.
like it does kind of suck.
So about that is because Japan is a very rich and cultured tapestry that we have to appreciate in the West. So this is half bullshit, but this is the explanation that I read, is that it is seen as proper for a Japanese woman to initially reject any sort of advance and then eventually go along with it. It's seen as like, if you like it to start, you're like a slut. So you need to be like, oh no, don't do that, haha, even if you like are into it.
Fucking yikes.
Yeah.
That sounds complicated.
Which is why people in Japan don't fuck. Because like the roles and like the politeness of it all, like the society is very rigid, and that rigidity carries over into like those sorts of situations.
Makes consent difficult.
Sure
yeah,
does.
I was gonna
Oh,
say
boy.
that as a layer of complicatedness,
Yeah.
to say the least.
So that's why you see a lot of that in anime, where some girl's like, no, don't touch me.
And then it happens.
And then she flips at some point, which is
Kinda like
really gross and messed up by
Kinda
Western
like-
standards.
It's like converting to Judaism. I'll get there. Don't worry.
Okay.
Apparently, one of the steps in converting to Judaism is that you have to ask a rabbi. I think it's 3 times, and he has to deny you 3 times before you could, because it proves that you really want
yeah,
it.
proves that you really want it.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, that's it's the same. I bet it's the same in the Japanese culture. I bet it's the same because it proves that she really wants it. And then they're like, oh, okay, there's consent there.
I think it proves that he really wants
Yeah,
it.
it proves he really wants it.
I was gonna say I thought it was because she then goes, okay, but it depends on what her reasons are for saying okay.
Yeah.
It's a whole can of worms right there,
I
man.
didn't say
Why
it
don't they
wasn't.
just toss out that first no? So you're like, whatever the second reaction is, that's the just first reaction. So if you say yes, it's yes. If you say no, it's no.
We're not Japanese. We can't tell them what to do.
That's true. Their culture is different. I'm glad I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
That sounds
Yeah.
very difficult.
Moderator asks in chat, is that why all Japanese porn is so rapey? Kinda, yeah. They do have a whole category for what we in the West would describe as normal porn, and it's called happy porn, where the girl is actually into it from the start. So there is a whole thing if you're into that for whatever reason.
Happy porn.
Happy porn?
So yeah,
People
Look that
aren't
up.
happy when they have sex.
I mean, normal porn?
yeah, ideally.
Well, normal in the West.
All right, let's get on to hard netting, which is how we usually
that
close up
wasn't
the show.
hard
No, it wasn't. That was just keeping you guys aware of the dreaded left and their attempts to censor everything good in this world.
When will they stop?
Hard nuttin'.
Oh, you know what this is?
Yeah,
Net. Oh,
Lawrence will.
I said nuttin'.
This is the part where
nut.
Bukkake
Sometimes.
happens. Welcome, Barbara.
depends how much you like the competitor. So this is a recurring competition at the end of the show, where I find like interesting expressions of humanity on the internet, basically like cultures or subcultures that would never have found a home. Like it would just be some weirdo in Idaho, except that because they have the internet now, we can all celebrate this guy's weird infatuation with plastic chairs, or like singing through a bottle of
Putting
water.
mustard on things.
Yeah, yes. It's essentially the end of the news broadcast where they show the squirrel on skis, is what we're going for here.
I want to see a squirrel on skis.
It's awesome.
Holy fuck.
Never seen that?
No.
Never,
There's a real
ever?
video of a squirrel on skis.
Of course there is.
I feel like based on this that my suggestion from last week did not win.
No, it didn't. I'm sorry.
Was yours squirrel on skis?
No, it was this YouTube channel that is solely dedicated to Banjo Kazooie, the bird in Banjo
Oh,
Kazooie,
yeah,
just like
yes.
pooping eggs. And I found it and subscribed and was very excited and then was like, Lawrence, please use this. And he did, and it got voted out.
It was good,
Yeah.
but it got voted down. I apologize.
The Digimon one I thought was a real escalation of the art form.
I was mad about that. I left an angry comment and said, this isn't what I subscribed for.
Automaton requires a lot more effort
You're right.
than the Banjo-Kazooie channel.
You're right, and I resent that.
So this is the automaton is an instrument that it's just like a giant musical note, except to play it you squeeze the little face so the mouth opens up and you like fret the neck.
Ooh, there's a Halloween one?
Yeah, this is a fresh one. So this, oh my gosh, there's a squeaky skeleton.
Oh, this thing. Are you allowed to play this song?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, let Content ID come after us, or Rooster Teeth in general. There is effort to also recreate various
How
music
would they have
streams.
done this?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
You
they
can do anything with After Effects.
put a lot of time and effort into this.
They really
Just ignore the hand and you're immersed right away.
And in previous Dude Soup, Silly G also said that for every time his watermark is mentioned, he will make it bigger until it covers the entire screen.
I know, and I
appreciate
saw that, and I decided to mention that the Silly G watermark is way too big.
Well done.
This is really well done.
We told you.
It is
Yeah.
really
Oh no, he tore his face off. I've actually never seen the inside of an automaton.
So that's what it is.
That goddamn wood block is killing me.
If I saw that thing by itself, I would think it's a sex toy.
They sell them everywhere. in
Still
Japan.
could be.
They
Yeah.
also sell sex toys everywhere in Japan. So.
Nice.
Amen.
They have to say no the first time, and then you could buy it.
All right, and that's going up against catgirlcare.org, which is the guide to proper catgirl care. If you're unfamiliar with catgirls, they're pretty self-explanatory. It's a anthropomorphized anime girl version of a cat that behaves as a cat and basically is a cat, except sometimes speaks English, or Japanese, I should say. So this is a caring guide that goes through litter box, training, feeding, bathing,
Can
grooming.
we read the litter box logic?
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's surprisingly similar to an actual cat. So let me...
Does the girl use the litter box?
well, I mean, you might have to get her to.
Well, yeah, but
begin
it's a
with.
cat though. Remember, it's a cat.
It's a cat girl.
Cat
that-
girl.
in the form of a girl.
The girl is half the part of it.
I don't know about maybe not half. Well,
Wah, wah.
I don't know.
This
I'm not
says,
sure. That's not specific.
Many cat girls are initially raised to use a litter pans for elimination. By the time they are sexually mature, a good breeder will typically have them toilet trained, and you will only have to show her the basic functions of flushing and the location of sanitary cleaning materials. However, if your cat girl is a stray/feral from a shelter, it is possible she was never fully toilet trained.
There you go.
This matter is fairly easy rectified in a few ways. When your cat girl evinces signs of elimination, squatting/straining, calmly and carefully pick her up under the arms and place her on the toilet. Gently hold her there until she eliminates. Demonstrate proper sanitary wiping upon completion. Your cat girl is a sanitary and fastidious creature. She will very quickly grasp the mechanics of clean and safe elimination on the toilet and be much happier for it, as will you.
Omar flashed himself in there.
Thank
Just
you, Omar.
Very, very briefly.
I appreciate that restraint, too. You were waiting the entire show.
expect that.
That was so jarring.
That was so scary.
I was reading about cat girl
Jump
litter
scare.
boxes.
That's why he did it.
So there's a lot. I'm gonna say it gets real awkward around the, where is it? I think it's pretty down here.
I want
first
awkward.
sentence?
Give us some awkward.
Yeah, the reproductive concerns area.
What do you mean concerns?
Concerns.
Your cat girl, upon sexual maturity, usually in her 5th to 7th year, will go into season 3 to 4 times a year.
Yeah, I'll blow it up for you, but it might make it, it'll make it scale a little bit weird. Let me scroll it. There you go.
During this time, she will be sexually receptive and capable of conceiving. Do not breed your cat girl unless under the strict supervision of a licensed and accredited breeder.
It's good advice.
Registered cat boys, they're cat boys,
Yeah.
are rare and rigorously screened for genetic defects. A mating with an unlicensed male can produce stillborn offspring or worse.
That would be terrible.
That would be worse.
Stillborn cat people? Whoa.
Are you tweeting about cat girls, Barbara?
I want to.
There's also this helpful image at the top there. I'll have to zoom back out on it. So every dollar that is spent waging the war on drugs is a dollar not spent on genetically engineering cat girls for domestic ownership.
Oh boy.
So think about that.
Good point.
They are right.
George W. Bush.
You're not wrong.
Or no, wait, other George Bush. Who started the war on drugs? Reagan? No.
HW?
Yeah, right?
I believe you mean HW.
I'm sorry, HW.
HW.
Double
Bush.
dibs.
W.
Who cares? That was a million years ago. Winners don't use drugs.
So now are we
Thanks,
supposed to
William Sessions.
have them fight? You vote between the two?
It's essentially a vote. Yeah.
Which one do you like more?
like or like are
I just saw the sentence, she should not require lubrication if in season.
Oh no.
That's how you know. So yeah, you got to vote on which one's netting harder, whatever that means to you.
See, at first I would think the cat girl is netting harder. But if it's a debate of like which one I like more, this
Criteria is up to you.
Yeah, the criteria is kind of up to you.
If it makes you so uncomfortable to vote for it, you can weigh that.
All right. Well, I still like the This Is Halloween. How do you pronounce it? Automaton?
Automaton, yeah, he's done a lot.
It's
of,
impressive.
I've done a lot of videos about a lot of different songs. Like,
Yeah.
It's very, very good.
Yeah.
I would have to
here.
vote for that.
Druid,
Look at that
Despacito.
effort.
See?
And also the consistency I enjoy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shit, feel
Oh, look at that one.
Oh, animated.
Oh my God.
See?
good. There was a little automaton record scratch in there.
This is great.
The one thing that I should point out, though, is Automaton's not doing any original music. The only reason, maybe one of the reasons we like it is because there's
it's borrowing
songs.
off the-
Yeah, there's songs that we already know.
But it's always smiling.
That's true. It's always happy.
Right on
Always
that.
performing.
How long is Catgirl? Will you scroll all the way down?
It's pretty long. So you can
Curious
see
to
the
see how much
scroll bar
work they
on
put
there.
into this.
Wow.
So, yeah, reproductive concerns. It's very long.
I was gonna say. I was gonna
Hold on,
vote.
what?
Exercise bathing her after this, as her genitals will likely be a bit puffy, red, and very sensitive.
If she seeks additional stimulation while bathing, you can accomplish relief for her by locating and gently manipulating her clitoris in slow clockwise and counterclockwise circles.
She will climax at least once over 3 to 5 minutes. It's convenient.
It's like she's a robot.
Got a stopwatch in one hand and a clitoris in the other. Good Friday night. All right, Bruce, who are you voting for? Who's Nettin harder?
I mean, I really like Catgirl a lot more than Banjo-Kazooie farting.
Okay.
I'm
I
sorry,
would've voted
it's
for
not
it.
against you, Alana. But I'm still voting for Automaton.
Oh, shit.
Automaton tried to recreate the Feel Good Inc. music video with their own stuff. I mean, like, Sully G, huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Great.
Ooh, pumped up kicks.
Yeah. All right, Alana.
Oh,
My
look
vote
at
doesn't
that.
count. 'cause
It's
they
a
already voted.
shutout. This is
So
just
I'm going to
for-
vote for Catgirl Care.
Good
I
for
really
you.
appreciate the effort that
Nice.
you put in. There's free smut in this pot.
Continue finger insertion.
Exactly.
Wait,
That's
they-
how I like to read my
I didn't
smut.
I read it down to like the bathing part, and I was already like, you know what? No, I didn't actually read that whole segment. Maybe I should. No, I don't need to.
You
It's
should
gone.
educate yourself on
It gets
Catgirl.
pretty messed up.
Her cervix. What?
you-
Who?
Yeah,
What? No.
Like
Is
I
it-
said.
No one wants their cervix touched.
Is that about how to get her off? What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like the idea is that if your cat girl's in heat, you got to help her out.
But I very much like, she's had an exhausting run. Stroke her head gently and talk encouraging to her.
It's pretty nice.
You
Rules
did
we
great.
can all live by.
You did great.
I wish all men knew about
I
that.
know, just, it's so pretty.
Yeah, wow.
You did a great job coming there. Good job.
What about Barbara? Who'd you vote for?
I voted for Automaton.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
He's had a pretty long run, huh?
Yeah, Automaton's been going for a while.
I'm just so, it's just the consistency.
Wait,
got a
this one
Patreon?
isn't even.
Yeah, it's not really, nothing's happening.
Oh, it was. They
Look
went
at
to
the
Oh, that was
lighting.
the end of the video. That's right.
Yeah.
That was the end.
Yeah.
You
It was the
even
lead
got
out.
that thing.
God.
Well, Tomatone, real Sully G, you got another week
It's
under
really
your belt.
good.
All right,
Or are you not allowed to vote?
No, I don't want anyone to accuse me of like tilting the scales. So, also
Very serious stuff.
once I get like a spare few hours a week, we'll figure out how to get Megaphone in here so the audience has a vote. But that means it may be possible tie. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Maybe the audience can be weighted.
I have a suggestion for one you could use for another week.
Yeah, sure.
Should I tell you now?
Sure.
I don't know what it is, and I saw it on the interwebs the other day, obviously. But it's a channel where this kid does a series called What Are You Doing in the Hallway? And it's a guy in high school who just interviews people at his high school about why they're in the hallway.
Excellent.
That's cool. I like that.
And there must be 40 or 50, maybe more videos.
I like that a lot.
And they're each like 3 to 4 minutes long.
Some
Are
guerrilla
they like
journalism.
edited?
Like just cuts, basically. Nothing special. No graphics or anything like that. But
Cool.
I like it.
Sounds good to me.
good series.
Vote for him.
Yeah, I'll try and find it. All right, before we close the show, got some announcements about what's going on in the Funhaus universe for you guys. First up, we have candles and shirts in the Rooster Teeth store.
Halloween.
Yeah.
It hasn't been centered this whole time. It's
Oh, yeah, you're right. Fix it.
Oh, sorry about
Fix
that.
it, Barbara.
perfect.
Yeah, I just kind of slammed it down on the table. That's store.fun.house is where all of our stuff is. So the design that's on the sacred mother of the broken disc, that's also on the shirt. So you can check that out on our store.fun.house. There's also a link in the description. Drunk Mario Party, the edited video that's coming out this Sunday. So look forward to that. I actually noticed in the analytics our Drunk Mario Party 10 video went back up the ranks because I think people are looking for it and they think that's the one.
Yeah.
No. We got new stuff. New stuff.
I'm excited to watch it. I'm sad I couldn't be here.
It's really
Me
good.
too, yeah. It's
It's really good.
Also got a few clips for you guys from
Weren't
some
we like
upcoming
all
videos.
sick that week though too? I was sick that
Yeah.
week.
Adam was sick. Me
he
and
was
Adam were sick
during-
during the thing.
Ugh.
Oh, can't think of a better time to
Yeah,
get
how
drunk
was that
and playing
weekend?
Mario
We
Party.
did it.
Ugh.
I think it wasn't so bad. It's been worse before.
Yeah, it has been worse.
I don't know that anything's going to be Talking Stalking season 4, episode 4.
Man, oh man. Boy, was I
Those were
drunk.
the times.
That was a weird night.
Weren't we all, man?
I do remember like full swan diving into the carpet at some point, which didn't make it into the video, probably on purpose. Because yeah, there's a cut where it comes back and I'm just on the floor.
Yeah, I know.
That's because I dove into the carpet, which also had like a broken glass of rum in it. So somehow I didn't kill myself, but I very well could have.
Everybody was fine.
Cool shit.
Everybody was fine.
Everybody was fine.
Bob, how long are you here for?
I leave tomorrow night.
Because I did want to at some point do a pumpkin carving BTS sometime this month.
Yeah.
Just got to figure out a time. I've never done it, so I hope one of you.
Oh,
does
it's
that.
fun.
Yeah.
It's also very hard.
Excellent.
I tried to carve a pumpkin 2 years ago for the first time. My hand never recovered.
It's very, very hard.
It It's a lot harder than it,
You need-
especially
Oh,
with the
because you
improper
like have to
tools.
tense a lot?
You
Yeah.
need good tools.
Oh, pumpkins are hard.
You need the proper tools because we didn't. We just had like regular
No,
knives.
no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You need like good tools.
Scrapers and.
All right,
Couldn't-
we'll have to add those into the shopping segment
Yeah.
of the BTS.
I got a few clips for you guys from upcoming videos. A little preview segment here at the end of the podcast. This is from an upcoming My Boyfriend clip. Yep, the next episode is coming. The video's all the way.
This is far away too. This is like weeks out.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm gonna rewind it there. You can full screen on it, Omar. If you're near that.
It's called a gameplay, Barbara. It's what we do.
Obviously.
It's a gameplay.
You look like Eminem.
Oh man, that's good
Wow.
stuff. Then we also have there's a band manager gameplay coming up soon. It's gonna be something special. So.
It really is.
Yeah, check
I'm
this
Gwen
out.
Stefani, and I've assembled all of my favorite musical artists to form a supergroup with me, a band to end all bands. With me now is Bob Dylan. To my left is The Cure's Robert Smith.
Hello, I'm feeling a little blue today. I don't know if I'll be playing.
Over here, we've got David Bowie.
You can call me Ziggy, as long as my paint is on my face, and I'm not dead.
Thank you for joining us from beyond the grave. And someone that should have died a long time ago.
Everybody already knows my name, Elise!
Yeah.
It's Aaron Barrett! From Real Big Fish!
Ah, Christ.
Oh man.
Oh, God.
We're never gonna get real big fish on this podcast now.
I don't know how you got the real Gwen Stefani to host that.
I know.
That's
She
amazing.
did. Elise did a spot-on impression.
That's Elise.
Gwen Stefani.
It's hard to tell, isn't it? What? Yeah. You thought we paid the $20 to get Gwen Stefani in here. She still sells out stadiums, yeah?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
probably more than $20 then. Oh, we'll see. We'll work
Elise
the
City.
angles.
Yeah. Sure.
And I guess aside from that, we got another Gaming Weekly coming up this Thursday. If you guys are watching live, you get to watch it Thursday morning when we stream. And if you're first members, you get to see the however long video, which will probably be a lot shorter this week. Sorry, Omar.
Yeah. It was a long one last week.
It was a long one. We had a lot-
Unintentionally.
Had a lot stored up.
Yeah, we had a lot of stuff to like iron out and all that.
And then if you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be up tomorrow, Friday 2 o'clock. So look forward to that. And thank you for listening to this podcast. We'll see you next week at the same time. If you're watching live, oh, he got the squirrel.
Yes!
Omar, such
How
a
have you never seen this?
I don't know! But I do feel like my life is better now, though.
look at him.
His hand's tied down.
Oh, I hope
He's
not.
holding on for dear
I didn't
life.
think about
Are those
that.
progressive? They are.
It's a sponsored.
Is there also a squirrel driving the boat?
Oh,
No, they weren't. They weren't tied down.
Twiggy.
Oh, he's so good.
He just hangs on.
Who's driving that
I
boat?
think there were 2 squirrels driving the boat. The squirrels driving the boat are a little more impressive, yeah?
Oh my god.
Squirrels are super cute.
They are.
Oh, that is a really domesticated squirrel.
Yeah.
What a heartwarming way to end the podcast. Thank you, Omar, and thank you, listener/viewer. If you enjoyed this podcast, leave a comment. There he is. Give us a little review on iTunes or whatever, or just recommend it to a friend. All that's good. And we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody. Oh, did you bump?
I don't know.
But
I think that-
Who's doing
Don't
social
you think-
media at the national park in Alaska?
that's probably how they get more funding than
Liars.
anything, is
I mean,
by
they're nailing
doing
it.
this fucking bullshit right here.
Getting more retweets than Arby's.
The ads that are running on this live stream probably make them more than our government devotes to their services anyway in a whole year.
like the Arby's metric.
They just see here and they go, oh, this is where all the